I found a beautiful schoolgirl on the street, and she gave birth to my child unexpectedly. Girl in the rain. The moon has disappeared. In the dark night, lightning flashes frequently, and occasionally, there are few dull thunders. All these phenomena indicate that a rainstorm is coming. Moxiang Academy, Building 2, Room 1203. In the master bedroom. The bedding and sheets of the double bed are messy and wrinkled, still keeping the appearance when they just got up in the morning. The L-shaped desk is as clear as the Chuhan River boundary in chess. On the long side, there are piles of books and test papers stacked together in disorder, and various stationery are thrown everywhere. The short side is the opposite. A host without light pollution is running slowly, and the graphics card inside also has a small screen, which displays the computer's heat dissipation, CPU usage, and other conditions in real time. From the degree of spotlessness of the chassis, it can be said that it is well cared for by the owner. At this time, a handsome boy with simple parted hair and extraordinary appearance was sitting on a gaming chair wearing headphones that looked like a big steamed bun. His left hand fingers flexibly pressed on the black and white gradient mechanical keyboard, and his right hand tightly grasped the hollow mouse, constantly moving back and forth on the black cowhide mousepad. The screen running on the 26-inch 2K240HZ high refresh monitor in front of him was a game called Escape from Tarkov. And this internet addict was named Jiyu Qingchen, barely a rich second generation. However, due to some reasons, in the second year of junior high school, he transferred to a strange city to live alone and no longer accepted any help from the rich family. Fortunately, the elite education he received since childhood taught him a lot of things, so even the money earned in his spare time was enough to live a quality life with more than enough food and clothing. At this time, the mobile phone on the table suddenly rang. Jiyu Qingchen quickly found a place to lie down, took off his headphones, picked up his phone and looked at the contact. At the same time, he leaned back on the chair and stretched his body before pressing the answer button. "Hello, my dear sister Mieshu, what can I do for you?" Jiyu Qingchen said lazily. On the other end of the phone, a melodious but slightly low female voice came slowly. Chen, your grandpa has just been admitted to the ICU, and the hospital has also issued a critical illness notice." Jiyu Qingchen was silent for a moment after hearing this, put away his joking tone, and replied slowly, "Well, I know." "Then do you still want to come back to Siyi?" Although she knew that the boy would definitely not come back, the woman still asked subconsciously. "No, you know how much the old man doesn't like me. If I go back, he will only die faster." Jiyu Qingchen's voice was neither sad nor happy, as if he was stating something that had nothing to do with him. "Okay, then take care of yourself. I'll go to accompany your mother first. She's in a bad mood." "It's okay, I'll hang up. Bye Tilda." "Bye." As the call was hung up, Jiyu Qingchen looked at the phone that had automatically turned off the screen for a long time and couldn't come back to his mind. I don't know what he was thinking. Suddenly, a deafening thunder exploded in the sky, pulling Jiyu Qingchen's thoughts back. He exhaled a breath of turbid air, shook his head, and stopped thinking about it. He turned on the screen of his mobile phone and looked at the time. He found that it was almost 10:30 in the evening. I wanted to continue to finish the game, but when I looked up at the screen, I found that I was dead. I saw that the person killed by the machine could not be reported. So, Jiyu Qingchen turned off the game and the accelerator directly, and hung the computer on the desktop playing the animated beauty dynamic wallpaper, and ignored it. He stood up and took off his pajamas, revealing his strong chest muscles and 6 abdominal muscles, as well as other even and tight muscles all over his body. With his height of 1.8 meters and good looks, as well as a mature temperament that does not match his current age, he is like a male protagonist from a comic book. After simply changing into a pair of short-sleeved shorts, Jiyu Qingchen stepped on slippers, came to the entrance, picked up an umbrella, and went out to buy supper. He also exercised his body after sitting for a day and relieved his current messy mood. On the way, Jiyu Qingchen walked absent-mindedly. There was no way. Even if he didn't like the old-fashioned and stinky-faced old man, he was a familiar relative after all. After learning that the other party was about to die, he couldn't help feeling melancholy in his heart. Looking at the green plants and trees on the street, which seemed to have been pressed to stop, Jiyu Qingchen couldn't help thinking. Is this the so-called calm before the storm? However, the next second, with sporadic raindrops falling, it took only a few blinks of an eye for the rain to turn into a downpour. Jiyu Qingchen was caught off guard by the rain. He quickly opened his umbrella, muttered, "What a face," and hurried to the snack street. Good Taste Snack Street. Here was still bustling with people, shoulder to shoulder, not affected by the heavy rain at all. Some diners held umbrellas, some wore raincoats, and even some warriors lined up in the rain. "Xiao Chen, your meal is ready, hold it tilde." As the proprietress's voice fell, Jiu Qingchen reached out to take the grilled squid handed over and hung it on the fishhook-shaped umbrella handle that already had a portion of grilled cold noodles hanging on it. "Okay, Aunt Cai, you are busy, I will leave first," he said to the proprietress, and after hearing her take a break from her busy schedule, "Okay, be careful on the road," he turned and left the snack street. On the way back, listening to the white noise brought by the heavy rain, Jiu Qingchen's mood also improved a little. But as he walked, he stopped inexplicably. Because through the rain curtain, a girl was sitting vaguely on the edge of the flower bed not far ahead. She hugged her curled legs in her arms, buried her head with long hair in it, motionless, letting the heavy rain pour down on her body. The street lights could only barely illuminate her feet. There was no one around, not even a passing car. Now it was such a thunderstorm weather. The most important thing was that he hadn't seen the girl when he came, so he bought a midnight snack and walked, but when he went back, she appeared. Even Jiu Qingchen, a firm materialist, couldn't help but feel scared when he was in this scene. He knew that it was not a ghost, nor was he stupid, and he could see that the girl was wrong. But every time he wanted to leave based on the principle of not interfering in other people's business, the damn sense of responsibility in his heart would jump out and say, "If you choose to turn a blind eye tonight, will there be another corpse in the world tomorrow? Can you bear to watch a young life die because of your erroneous thought?" Jiu Qingchen didn't dare to gamble on this kind of question, and he couldn't gamble. Helplessly, after hesitating for a while, he still walked towards the girl. Chapter 2, Picking Up a School Bell. When Jiu Qingchen approached the girl, he was surprised to find that she was wearing the same school uniform as he was. What a small world he actually ran into a schoolmate in such a situation. Seeing the girl curled up like a fragile little deer, her fragile frame almost invisible beneath the rain, Jiu Qingchen's protective instincts surged. He positioned most of the umbrella over her, then crouched down and gently asked, "Are you okay? Do you need any help?" But the girl remained completely still, as if she hadn't heard him. With no other choice, Jiu Qingchen reached out and tapped her shoulder, repeating his question, "Are you all right?" At his touch, the girl's body gave a slight shudder. Only after a few moments did she slowly lift her head. She brushed her wet hair away from her face, revealing a stunningly pure and beautiful face that seemed like something out of a first love. "Thank you, I'm fine, please don't disturb me." Her voice was as sweet as a lark's song, but upon seeing Jiu Qingchen's face, she abruptly stopped herself. Her originally vacant eyes regained a spark of life, and she shyly turned her head away, not wanting the boy in front of her to see her disheveled appearance. In fact, when the girl pushed her long hair aside, Jiu Qingchen had already seen her face clearly. He was both surprised and curious but didn't pry. Instead, he simply and directly asked, "Do you have anywhere to go? Should I help you call the police?" The girl shook her head violently in response. "What should we do then? This is the academic district, and the nearest hotel or inn is far away." Jiu Qingchen thought for a moment before suggesting, "Or, if you trust me, you can come to my place for now." As soon as the words left his mouth, he regretted them. Why did it feel like he was about to be a creepy uncle luring a young girl into his home? He had expected the girl to refuse. After all, going home with a boy she barely knew didn't seem safe at all. But to his surprise, the girl shyly responded, as if torn, "Is it okay? Would I be too much of a bother?" She really had no other place to go, no money, and no phone. She had originally planned to end her life by jumping into the river that night. But now he had appeared in front of her at the most desperate moment of her life. So, for once, she wanted to be selfish. She wanted to be greedy and accept help. "It's not a bother, let us go." Once Jiu Qingchen heard her response, he immediately grabbed her arm and gently pulled her up, guiding her toward his place. The girl didn't resist in the slightest. She obediently followed, but still said with hesitation, "Oh, it's late. Won't it disturb your parents? You can refuse if it's too much trouble. Don't worry, I live alone, so it won't disturb anyone." Then, as if something had occurred to him, Jiu Qingchen turned to the girl and added, "You're not testing me, are you? Don't worry, with our level of trust, I wouldn't do anything. Even if my parents aren't home, I wouldn't do anything to you. You can trust me, I'm not that much of a scumbag. The girl panicked at his words, afraid that he might misunderstand her intentions, and quickly shook her head. I don't mean that at all. I trust you. Then I guess I'll have to trouble you. Jiyu Qingchen was surprised by her response. He had expected her to be evasive or not respond at all. After all, it was normal for girls to be wary of boys. But to his surprise, she had so firmly said that she trusted him. A sudden sense of she is my girlfriend flooded over him, and for a moment, Jiyu Qingchen didn't know what to say. After that, the two of them walked silently, sharing the umbrella, side by side, in the heavy rain. Wait. What was this feeling of déjà vu, like a scene straight out of a youth drama? Chapter 3, The Reason They Are Familiar. The reason behind this seemingly random encounter was that Jiyu Qingchen and the girl were already familiar with each other. They had known each other for quite some time. The girl's name was Siyi, and she had been Jiyu Qingchen's classmate for 3 years. Not only that, but she was also the most recognized and admired school belle at Linjiang No. 1 High School. In less than half a year after enrolling, her excellent academic performance, always ranked first in the entire grade, combined with her pure beauty, had led the principal to invite her to become the new image spokesperson for the school. Later, she replaced the decades-old image of the school's teaching building on the admission notice. Her promotional video for the school was still being played on the large screen outside the school even now. Her reputation in the area around Linjiang No. 1 High School was widespread. Everyone knew her. In addition to her beauty and brains, Siyi had never taken a single sick day, nor made any mistakes, big or small. She completed all the tasks assigned by her teachers with excellence. Every day, she was so dedicated to her studies that it was said she often skipped meals. Anyone walking back from the school cafeteria at lunch could always spot her sitting in the classroom, studying diligently. She was the epitome of the perfect student in the eyes of teachers, an ideal academic achiever and model student. Her homeroom teacher treated her like a treasure. In her everyday life, she moved slowly, her actions graceful and elegant, and her personality was aloof and cold. She kept to herself and was distant from others. There was also a rumor no one knew who started it that her family wasn't well off. This only added to her aura of being a pitiful yet ethereal figure, a girl who seemed untouched by the world's troubles, sparking a sense of protection and admiration among the boys. She became a kind of goddess, someone who had fallen from the heavens into the mundane world. As a result, at least half of the boys in the school liked her. Jiyu Qingchen was no exception. He had liked her once, too, though it was just a passing phase. At this point, it could be said that Siyi had contributed at least half of the reason why Linjiang No. 1 High School's enrollment rate had more than doubled. One could only say that the principal was quite astute, and perhaps, modern in his thinking. As for how Jiyu Qingchen and Siyi became familiar with each other, it all started when her school promotional video was first released. After that, her desk started getting mysteriously covered in graffiti, her books and pens were destroyed or broken. It was clear she was being bullied by other girls out of jealousy. Soon after, Jiyu Qingchen accidentally witnessed a group of school bullies cornering Siyi in an alley after school. They were at the point of tearing her clothes and slapping her face. Seeing this, Jiyu Qingchen couldn't just stand by. He immediately rushed over and gave the bullies a good beating. To prevent any retaliation, for the following month, he made a point to walk home with Siyi after school. As expected, the bullies didn't back down. They found a group of local delinquents and tried to corner them again. However, Jiyu Qingchen had trained in military hand-to-hand combat with a retired soldier when he was younger. While he wasn't a master, dealing with a few school delinquents was no problem. After giving them a thorough beating, he made it clear that if anyone dared to bully Siyi again, he would hold them accountable. He wasn't afraid of getting into trouble. He told them, if you don't want to get beaten up, leave her alone and mind your own business. Perhaps the bullies were scared after that, because Siyi was never bullied again. Gradually, the two became familiar with each other. They occasionally chat, but to outsiders, they didn't seem close. They were just ordinary friends, nothing more. In reality, after 3 years of interactions, their relationship had grown quite strong. However, in their daily lives, they had no real connection. They didn't even have each other's contact information. Jiyu Qingchen had always thought that after graduation, they would go their separate ways and never see each other again. But isn't fate just so strange? As for why Jiyu Qingchen didn't call the police? Well, they were both minors, and the consequences wouldn't be serious at most. Their guardians would be called in for a talk. Who would expect to reason with the parents of a group of troublemaking delinquents? Sometimes, using force to deal with trouble is just the most effective way. As for why Song Siyu didn't tell her parents or teachers about the bullying, that was something Jiyu Qingchen didn't understand, and it was one of the things he wanted to know. But, in the end, he wasn't directly involved, so he couldn't interfere. He could only help the girl in his own way. Chapter for a Fleeting Feeling. Moxiang Academy, Building 2, Room 1203. Jiyu Qingchen entered the password to unlock the door and brought Song Siyi into their house. "You're welcome, come in and sit anywhere, and wait for me." After saying that, he put away his umbrella and midnight snack, turned and walked into the bedroom. Song Siyi still stood at the entrance cautiously, afraid of dirtying something. But her bright eyes looked at the living room with envy. Grey walls and floor tiles, a black and white coffee table, a grey sofa, and pure white dining table and chairs. There is also a TV wall that looks like it is made up of geometric patterns, and a TV that looks very large and thin, with some green plants dotted on the side. The overall look is so simple, elegant, clean and neat. After a while, Jiyu Qingchen walked out of the bedroom holding a set of light blue pajamas. Looking at the girl still standing at the door, he quickly called out, "Don't stand there like an idiot. Come with me. Go take a hot bath and don't catch a cold." Okay. Song Siyi responded and followed Jiyu Qingchen with big steps, trying to step on as little dirt as possible. "Come to the bathroom." Jiyu Qingchen first took out a new towel and toothbrush from the cabinet, and placed them on the towel rack along with the pajamas. Then he turned to Song Siyi and said, "The towels and toothbrushes are all new, but the pajamas are not new. However, this set has been washed, so you can wear it for now. There is a new quilt, but we can't let Song Siyi come out wrapped in it, right? Although both cover the whole body, the visual impact they bring is completely different. Just like being vague is more attractive than being naked." Jiyu Qingchen took out a plastic basin and said, "Put your clothes and shoes in here first. When you are done washing them, I will put them in the washing machine for you. They will be dry by tomorrow." Then, he pointed to the 3 large and 1 small toiletries on the sink, and the water heater on the wall and said, "The small one is toothpaste, and the remaining 3 bottles are shower gel, shampoo, and facial cleanser. They are all written on them, you can pick them up and see for yourself. The water heater is thermostatic. There is a panel on top. The up button increases the temperature, the down button decreases the temperature, and the temperature is displayed on the small screen in the middle. It is very simple. You can try to adjust the water yourself." Jiyu Qingchen took a final look around and saw that there was nothing else to say, so he picked up the mop and said, "Okay, I'm going out first. If you don't know anything else, just call me. Wash it quickly." "Thank you, Tilder." When he was about to leave the bathroom, Song Siyi thanked him in a mosquito-like voice. Jiyu Qingchen also heard it, but just waved his hand nonchalantly, closed the door, and turned on the bathroom heater. Song Siyi felt the warm light suddenly come on, and subconsciously looked towards the door. The emotion in her eyes flashed for a moment, and then disappeared. After cleaning up the muddy footprints left by Song Siyi, Jiyu Qingchen leaned the mop against the wall and sat on the sofa, browsing his phone while waiting for her to finish her shower. About 20 minutes passed. The bathroom door was slowly opened, and a young girl walked out shyly. Her delicate and beautiful oval face was blushing, her wet hair was scattered behind her, covering her waist, and her uneven bangs were about to cover her watery eyes. She held her collar with one hand and her trouser waist with the other, and her trouser legs were carefully rolled up. The rosy white feet stepped on the ground at a loss, and the lovely pearl-like toes were slightly curled up because of nervousness. It's just that the pajamas are a little big and cover up Song Siyi's figure. All that can be vaguely seen is her slightly bulging chest. What a shame. Chapter 5. It's impolite to be polite again. Can you please stop looking at me? Song Siyi said in a mosquito-like voice as she looked at the boy who was staring at her intently. It's not that she doesn't want to show him, but she's too shy. If she continues like this, she's going to faint. After admiring for a while, Jiyu Qingchen came back to his senses and looked at the girl with her head lowered, with steam faintly coming out of her head. He quickly coughed, pretended to be calm, ran to the shoe cabinet in the entrance and took out a pair of slippers. Sorry, I forgot to bring it to you. My bad. Ji Qingchen apologized and put the shoes at Song Siyi's feet. Afraid that she would dislike them, he explained, these are for entertaining guests, but we have never had guests at home, so they are all new. You can wear them without worry. It's okay, thank you Tilda. Song Siyi stretched out her cute toes and put on slippers that were several sizes larger than her feet. You sit down first, I'll get you a hair dryer. Ji Qingchen pointed at the sofa and went into the bedroom. Good. After taking a shower, Song Siyi was no longer afraid of getting anything dirty, so she was no longer reserved and slowly walked to the sofa. As soon as she sat on it, she relaxed her body unconsciously. It felt like sitting in a cloud, with just the right softness and hardness. It would be nice if I could sleep here every day Tilda, Song Siyi thought comfortably in her heart. At this time, Ji Qingchen also came out with a hair dryer. He plugged it in and turned it on before handing it to Song Siyi. While she was blow-drying her hair, Ji Qingchen went into the kitchen again and reheated the midnight snack in the microwave. After a while, looking at Song Siyi who had just finished blowing her hair, he immediately shouted from the kitchen, "Come and have something to eat, school beauty Song." After hearing this, Song Siyi quickly responded, No, I'm not hungry Tilda. Come on, I've got it all done. Ji Qingchen had already brought all the food to the dining table. Really, no need. You bought me the midnight snack. What will you eat if I eat it? Although she hadn't eaten anything at night, Song Siyi still refused with a girl's modesty. It's impolite to be polite anymore. Why are you being so reserved in front of me? Ji Qingchen urged again. After hearing what Ji Qingchen said, Song Siyi did not insist any more and came to the dining table obediently. Looking at the grilled cold noodles and grilled squid on the table, she whispered, "Thank you. Sit down and eat." Ji Qingchen only took 2 skewers of grilled squid and said, "I'll eat these, the rest is yours." How can that be possible? Song Siyi immediately retorted. It's already embarrassing that I can get some food for free, how can I take it all? It's okay, I'm not hungry. I've had dinner at night, and I'm just craving for a midnight snack. Ji Qingchen waved his hand and explained. But just as Song Siyi was about to continue speaking, she was interrupted by Ji Qingchen. All right, eat quickly. If I were hungry, I would order takeout. Can I starve to death? Song Siyi pursed her lips and stopped arguing with him. She picked up the bamboo skewer and started eating it in small bites. But she chewed it for a long time before swallowing it, with an expression of enjoyment on her face, which made Ji Qingchen a little confused. Is this grilled cold noodles so delicious? I never thought so before. Then, he stopped paying attention to Song Siyi and focused on finishing the grilled squid in his hand while watching short videos. After finishing his meal in a few bites, Ji Qingchen pulled out a tissue and wiped his mouth. Before he stood up, he told Song Siyi, "You continue eating." Then he left the table, picked up the mop against the wall and went into the bathroom. Chapter 6: The Secret of Sexy. When he came out, he was holding a basin filled with Song Siyi's changed clothes and walked towards the balcony. The washing machine in Ji Qingchen's house has 4 drums, 1 large, 1 medium and 2 small. The big one washes outerwear, the middle one washes shoes, and the other 2 small ones, one washes socks and the other washes underwear. Although it is convenient, it consumes a lot of electricity and is very expensive. A washing machine costs nearly 10,000 yuan. Ji Qingchen put all his outer clothes into the big tube. The next second, he was stunned. Because as the outer clothes were removed, the covered underwear was revealed. It's not that Ji Qingchen had any perverted thoughts about smelling and touching, but he was surprised by the style of the underwear. Purple, hollow carving, lace. This kind of sexy and charming style, which is infinitely close to erotic lingerie, is definitely not something a good student girl would wear. With this question in mind, he put the remaining clothes and shoes into the corresponding drums, poured in detergent, pressed the wash button, and left the balcony. As soon as they walked into the living room, Song Siyi, who was eating, suddenly said, "You saw it all, right?" Her voice was suppressed, and she showed no shame at all for having her little secret seen through. Ji Qingchen responded and went into the bathroom to put the basin. When he came out again, Song Siyi asked again, aren't you curious? Don't you want to ask me why? She was very nervous and wanted to explain, fearing that the boy would mistake her for a girl who was immoral and had no self-respect. But she was also afraid that if she said it out loud he would dislike her, so she hesitated. But Ji Qingchen did not answer her question, but sat back on the dining chair opposite Song Siyi and said in a gentle voice, "Okay, relax, you don't have to say it if you don't want to. I trust you very much. I don't deny my curiosity, but some secrets, when told out, may gain temporary sympathy, but in the future, they may also become a sharp blade that stabs oneself. You should consider carefully whether to talk about it. Of course, if you insist, I will also be a good tree hole. Although I can't guarantee that I won't hurt you again with it in the future because of a momentary impulse, I can guarantee that I will keep it in my stomach forever." Ji Qingchen put all the pros and cons in front of Song Siyi. As for what choice to make, it was up to her. After a moment of silence, Song Siyi seemed to muster up the courage and said in a very low voice, "As long as it's you, I'm willing no matter what tilde." What did you say?" Because her voice was too soft, Ji Qingchen could not hear clearly her words, which sounded like a confession. "No, it's all right." Song Siyi's face turned red and she was about to bury her head in her chest. The courage she had just mustered up with great difficulty was gone. Her mind raced, and she quickly said, "I mean, are you willing to be my tree hole?" Ji Qingchen looked at Song Siyi in confusion, and said helplessly, "School beauty Song, were you listening to the lecture just now? Did I make it very clear?" Song Siyi also nodded seriously and said, "You understand what I said, right? Are you sure?" Ji Qingchen confirmed again. Confirmation, uncertainty. There was an unquestionable feeling in Song Siyi's sweet and clear voice. No matter in the past or now, Ji Qingchen has always been helping her and caring about her, and has never had any overstepping or intention towards her. The same was true tonight. If he hadn't taken her in, she might have been soaking in the cold river water now. In this world, she only trusts him. Chapter 7-6 School Bell. After dinner, Ji Qingchen cleaned up the garbage and took Song Siyi to the second bedroom. Lifting the dust sheets covering the bed and bedside table, Ji Qingchen said, "No one has lived here before, the quilts are all new, you can use them without worry. If you want to drink water, you can go to the kitchen to get it. The thinnest water pipe is purified water. It's late now, take a rest first, we can talk about it tomorrow, and you should calm down and think about whether you want to talk to me, okay?" "Well, thank you." Song Siyi nodded. "Okay, stop being polite to me and have a good rest. I'm leaving now. Good night." "Good night tilde." After Ji Qingchen left the room, Song Siyi looked at the white bed, a little dazed. She ran her slender fingers across the sheets and then slowly sat down on them. Well, it's softer than the sofa in the living room. She took off her slippers, lay on her back on the bed, and buried her head in the fluffy goose feather pillow. The feeling of being wrapped up made Song Siyi feel so comfortable that she felt a little dazed. And even though there was no air conditioning, the temperature was very cool. Her mind was full of thoughts, and she didn't know whether this comfortable environment was real or a paradise after death. Will I wake up and find myself back in that nightmare home, or will I never wake up again? Gradually, Song Siyi closed her eyes in a daze and fell asleep. The morning sun shines through the window. In the kitchen, a beautiful figure with loose hair is holding the waistband of her pants with one hand and cooking noodles with chopsticks in the other. DDDD. As the sound of entering the password rang out, Song Siyi was startled and quickly looked out from the kitchen. As the door opened, Ji Qingchen walked in, wearing casual sportswear and carrying fried dough sticks and soy milk. Song Siyi heaved a sigh of relief when she saw that the person coming was a handsome young man. She thought it was Ji Qingchen's parents who came, and was afraid of leaving a bad impression on them. "Didn't you sleep?" Song Siyi asked puzzledly, looking at the closed door of the master bedroom. "No, I have the habit of jogging in the morning. As long as the weather is good, I will go out for exercise." As he spoke, Ji Qingchen shook the breakfast in his hand and said, "I bought some food, come and eat." Song Siyi pointed to the kitchen with the chopsticks in her hand a little embarrassedly and said, "I didn't know you bought breakfast, so I cooked some noodles. What should I do?" "It's okay, I can just heat it up and eat it at noon." Then, Ji Qingchen frowned and looked at Song Siyi's face with a strange expression. Her cheeks were slightly red, but her eyes were lifeless. He quickly walked up to Song Siyi, put the back of his finger against her forehead, and said with a slightly reproachful tone, "Can't you feel that you have a fever?" "Yes." Feeling the strong smell of hormones from the boy in front of her after exercise rushing into her nose, Song Siyi admitted it subconsciously in a daze. "Can you not rest in your room? Why are you coming out to cook?" Jiyu Qingchen asked with some confusion. He thought Song Siyi didn't feel it, but it turned out that she went into battle while sick. "It's okay. I've always been like this before. I'm used to it. It will heal on its own in a couple of days." Song Siyi didn't take it seriously and wanted to go back to the kitchen to continue cooking the noodles. "What are you thinking?" Jiyu Qingchen was frightened by these remarks, and was not willing to let her do what she wanted. He grabbed Song Siyi's wrist and pulled her to the second bedroom, pointing at the bed and saying forcefully, "Take off your shoes and lie down." Looking at the domineering boy, Song Siyi didn't insist anymore. She kicked off her slippers and lay down obediently, pulling the summer quilt over herself, like a little rabbit. Chapter 8, Being a Best Friend and a Father. Jiyu Qingchen turned up the central air conditioning in the living room a few degrees. Then, he took out a thermometer from the cabinet on the coffee table and returned to the second bedroom. "Put it under your armpit to check your temperature. There is only one kind of antipyretic medicine at home, but it can only be used if the temperature is above 38 degrees. Jiyu Qingchen handed the thermometer to Song Siyi. She took it as instructed, and put her hands through the collar and into her armpits, revealing deep ravines along the way. Jiyu Qingchen just glanced at it and then looked away silently. About 5 minutes later, he took the thermometer Song Siyi handed back and looked at it. 38.3 degrees, wait a minute, I'll make you some medicine. The fried dough sticks are too greasy, so I'll just give you some noodles you just cooked. Eat and have a good sleep. Okay, thank you for your help Tilda, Song Siyi said with a little guilt. Obviously, taking her in for one night was already causing trouble for others, but this unlucky body got sick and had to let the boy take care of her again. Would he think that she was too troublesome? Jiyu Qingchen didn't have as many thoughts as Song Siyi. Instead, he was quite dissatisfied with her politeness and said, "This is my last reminder. If you are polite to me again, I will throw you out." Song Siyi immediately stopped mumbling in her heart, covered her mouth and nodded vigorously. Looking at her silly look, Jiyu Qingchen couldn't help but smile, then turned and left the room. When he came back, he was holding noodles in his left hand and a disposable paper cup of antipyretic powder in his right hand. Under his right arm, there was a small table for placing a laptop on the bed. He first placed the food and medicine on the bedside table, then propped up the table and placed it on the bed, and asked Song Siyi, "Can you sit up by yourself?" "Can." Song Siyi propped up her arms and sat up. Jiyu Qingchen also put the pillow upright and let her lean against the head of the bed. He took the antipyretic powder and asked her to drink it before putting the noodles on the table. "Eat quickly, sleep and sweat after eating, you should feel much better. If you don't get better, I'll take you to the hospital." No, I don't have any money, and it's just a minor illness, there's no need to go to the hospital," Song Siyi quickly waved her hand and refused. Jiyu Qingchen knew her temper well, and he was too lazy to persuade her, so he said directly, "You don't have to pay, and I'm notifying you, not discussing, so you just need to be obedient. Now, eat and rest." After hearing this, Song Siyi immediately wilted and didn't dare to say anything. She obediently picked up the chopsticks and started eating in small bites. After cleaning up the dishes, Jiyu Qingchen didn't bother Song Siyi anymore. He returned to his bedroom, turned on his computer, activated the accelerator, and boarded Tarkov, preparing to deliver several sets of equipment. At this time, a voice message popped up on Jiyu Qingchen's phone. When I clicked on it, a cheesy voice came out in a rather excited tone. "Hey! Baby Tilda, hurry! Go! Online! I'm feeling really good today, watch me do a 1-on-5 attack. Just relax and bring your bag in and play hard Tilda. This idiot is called Lu Xingzhe." Jiyu Qingchen transferred here from the second grade of junior high school and became classmates with him. Later, they went to different schools in high school. But because we played similar games, had common topics, and were good people, our relationship naturally developed into the level of best friends we are today. Now that he has graduated, he finally got a 3-month summer vacation without homework. He plays chess all the time. Jiyu Qingchen typed a reply slowly, Stop being so arrogant and think about which university you can go to with your estimated score and how to fill in the application form, okay? Lu Xingzhi, what's the point of studying this? Just take whatever you get into. Jiyu Qingchen. Jiyu Qingchen, then I will talk to my aunt to see if she supports you to go with the flow. On the other end of the phone, a chubby guy with tin-foil perms shivered violently. When his mother beats people, she really spanks them on the buttocks, the kind that makes them unable to sit on a stool for several days. There is a bamboo pole at home, which has been used to beat him since he was a child. Now, more than 10 years have passed, but he is still as sharp as ever. If his mother knew that he filled out the application form randomly, wouldn't she be in big trouble? Lu Xingzhi quickly typed back, what future does playing games have? How can I be so decadent at the age of youth and struggle? Of course I have to be selective about my future. I'm going to look at the school information. Bye. Jiyu Qingchen. He put down his phone, muttered funny, and went to Tarkov to deliver the package. Lu Xingzhi didn't focus on studying at all, and had no idea about his future. He was only focused on playing games every day, and he really couldn't stand it without being reminded and threatened. Both Lu's mother and father had low education and knew nothing, so they asked several of their son's good friends to supervise Lu Xingzhi. Jiyu Qingchen is one of them, and he is the most responsible to Lu Xingzhi. Who can blame him for being precocious? He is really both a best friend and a father to Lu Xingzhi. Chapter 9 Scars on the Girl's Body. Before I knew it, it was noon. Feeling the urge to urinate, Jiyu Qingchen turned off the game and the accelerator, stretched, and got up to go to the bathroom. Because the apartment has 2 bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen and a bathroom, there is only one toilet in the house. As a result, as soon as I opened the door, a soft R sound came into my ears. Jiyu Qingchen, who was feeling a little dizzy after playing the game, immediately noticed the beautiful body with her hair wrapped in a towel, squatting in the corner with her back to the body. For a moment, his eyes were stunned. But it was not because of the girl's sexy and graceful figure, but because her fair, porcelain-like skin was covered with bruises and scars, scattered on her sides, back, arms and thighs. This is clearly the result of long-term abuse. Siyi lowered her head and remained silent, just trying her best to cover the scars on her body with the foam of the shower gel. Sorry, you wash first. Jiyu Qingchen, with a solemn expression, did not ask any more questions. He apologized in a heavy tone and turned away. Because Siyi was covered in scars, he was not aroused by this erotic scene at this moment. Instead, he felt more distressed and pity. After a while, Siyi came out wearing the loose pajamas she wore last night. This time she didn't wash her hair, only her loose hair was slightly wet. Jiyu Qingchen was cooking in the kitchen, while Siyi was sitting quietly on the sofa, looking back at the busy figure. Because of the embarrassment and helplessness of being caught taking a shower and keeping her secret, she was too embarrassed to go over to help. When the food was served, Jiyu Qingchen said, "It's time to eat." "Okay, Tilda." Siyi responded, stood up and walked to the dining table and sat down. "There's not much food at home. I usually order takeout or go out to buy food. Now it takes a long time to order or buy food, so I'll just have a bite first. I'll order something delicious in the evening." Jiyu Qingchen, who was on the other side of the table, pointed at the stir-fried pork with green peppers, scrambled eggs, and millet porridge on the table and said, "It's okay, it's fine now." Siyi's words were not meant to be polite. For her, it was indeed very good. After a moment of silence, Jiyu Qingchen apologized for what happened just now and explained, "I'm sorry, I didn't know you were taking a shower. Mainly because the lights were not on and there was no sound of water, so I didn't pay attention." Siyi shook her head nonchalantly, "I don't blame you, I was just sweating after getting up, and seeing that your door was closed and you didn't mean to come out, I wanted to take a quick shower, but I didn't expect it to be such a coincidence." At this point, Jiyu Qingchen also asked with concern, "By the way, how do you feel now? Have you taken your temperature?" "Well, I took it when I got up, it's 36.8 degrees, so there's nothing wrong." Siyi nodded. "That's fine." Then, the two of them fell into silence again, eating without saying a word. After eating and drinking, Siyi sat on the sofa. Jiyu Qingchen took out 2 bottles of iced cola from the refrigerator, unscrewed one of them and handed it to her, then sat down not far away. "Can you tell me what happened to your injuries?" Jiyu Qingchen asked softly after taking a sip of coke. After all, she was a girl he once liked. Even if his feelings for her had faded now, he still wanted to ask her the reason for such a serious matter as suspected abuse. Song Siyi also took 2 sips of coke, and while looking at the black drink with a complicated look in her eyes, she asked back, "Are you still willing to be my tree hole? Maybe after I finish talking, all the questions you are curious about will be answered. If you've thought it over, I'm willing to do it anytime." Jiyu Qingchen nodded in response. Song Siyi was silent for a long time before she slowly told her story. Chapter 10, Song Siyi's Experience, Part 1. The mother died due to amniotic fluid embolism, but she successfully gave birth to a 6.5-pound baby girl. "Oh, why is it a girl? Can we not have her?" said a hunchbacked old woman. The doctor immediately became furious when he heard this. "Mother-in-law, what are you talking about? Abandoning a baby is against the law. If you say that again, I will call the police." At this time, the middle-aged man next to him hurried over to explain, No, my mom was just joking, don't take it seriously, I definitely can't bear to throw away my daughter Tilda." Then, he turned around and whispered in his mother's ear, "Mom, raise her like a pig. When she grows up, sell her to a wealthy family in our village as a daughter-in-law and collect a generous betrothal gift." When the wife heard this, she smiled happily, Okay, I'll do as you say." When applying for birth certificate, let's call her Song Siyi. "This is the name my wife gave me when she was pregnant. It's all your fault for not wearing a condom. I got pregnant with your child. The big boss who supported me behind the scenes doesn't want me anymore, so you have to marry me. Otherwise, I'll go to your village and make trouble." A woman wearing a black cashmere coat and a hip skirt, black stockings on her legs, high heels on her feet, and heavy makeup on her face, glared at the middle-aged man in front of her and said, Okay. More than 9 months later, the mother gave birth to a 7.1-pound baby boy. Both mother and child are safe. Congratulations, Tilda. That's great. The Song family finally has a successor. Your father can rest in peace in heaven, said the hunchbacked old woman. The middle-aged man was so happy that he was about to set off firecrackers to celebrate. Since he is my first precious son, I will name him Song Zijuan. My son, handsome. My old bitch gave birth to a burden after only 5 years of marriage. She really deserved to die. My wife is really awesome, you are a contributor to our Song family, Tilda. In a small living room, the walls were covered with paint from children's graffiti. The cement floor was very clean and there was no garbage. A 7 or 8-year-old baby who looked like a porcelain doll had a pale face and was quietly curled up on the hard wooden sofa without moving. She was Song Siyi when she was a child. At this time, a middle-aged man came out. He kicked the sleeping girl with his foot and said impatiently, Hurry up, your grandma will be here soon. Go cook the meal and clean the table. Song Siyi rubbed her eyes with her chubby little hands and said weakly, Dad, I feel dizzy. Can we not do it? The middle-aged man didn't care at all, it's just a fever. If you delay cooking, I'll see if your grandma and aunt will punish you. Song Siyi's whole body trembled noticeably, and she quickly got up and walked towards the kitchen. Before the middle-aged man returned to his house, he warned, Don't eat secretly, or you will be in trouble. Song Siyi seemed to be used to such words and didn't react much. She moved the small stool to the stove, stepped on it, turned on the gas and lit the fire. Then he went to the refrigerator, took out the meat and vegetables, cut them skillfully on the chopping board, and started cooking. At the same time, she heated up the rice porridge left over from yesterday and took out a piece of pickled vegetable and cut it. This is her lunch. As the door opened, an old woman with a hunched back and white hair walked in. Suddenly, a little kid about 6 years old ran out. Hey, my eldest grandson, do you miss Grandma? Look what delicious food I brought you. She picked up the kid with one hand and took out a bag of puffs from behind her. Keep it for yourself and don't give it to your sister. Okay, the old woman pointed at the boy's nose and warned. Grandma, Song Siyi also came over and shouted. She heard what was said just now, but she didn't complain about anything. The old woman just glanced at her and said nothing. Night. The family of 4 was happily eating at the dining table, which was filled with various dishes, some cooked by Song Siyi and some ordered from takeout. But the girl could only squat in front of the coffee table, drinking the leftover porridge and eating pickles in small sips. Oh my! Why is it so hot? Husband, Junbao seems to have a fever. What should we do? A woman dressed seductively asked anxiously. Don't worry, let your son have a good sleep. I'll go buy some medicine. If that doesn't work, we'll go to the hospital. The middle-aged man put on his clothes and went downstairs without saying a word. Why does my younger brother have delicious food every day? Why can't I eat the food on the table? Why can't I eat the leftovers from my younger brothers? Why can't I rest like my brother when I'm sick? Why can't I get the care of my father and aunt? Chapter 11 Song Siyi's Experience Part 2. 14 years old. Song Siyi came to the bedroom and asked carefully, Auntie, I seem to have my period. Can you buy me some underwear and sanitary napkins? The woman with a plump face immediately got up from the bed impatiently, and first went up to her and pinched her hard a dozen times. Song Siyi also endured it silently. Afterwards, the woman, who had just vented her anger, took out a few sets of underwear and some worn-out cotton coats from the closet. It's just that some of those underwear are made of lace, some are translucent, and some are hollow-carved. Anyway, there is no normal cotton underwear. Here, buy whatever you want. I don't wear these anymore. You can wash them and wear them again. Also, sanitary napkins are free, right? You can just sew a few pieces out of your torn cotton clothes and use them as is. There are still a few sanitary napkins left in the bathroom cabinet, they are all given to you, go away and stop bothering me. As soon as she left the bedroom, a little boy who was running around wildly took a water bowl and smashed it hard on Song Siyi's head. Oh Tilda, I hit it. The naughty kid shouted excitedly as he ran away. She ignored him and went to the bathroom, crying while washing the underwear that was given to her for charity. Why does my younger brother have new clothes and shoes to wear every month, while I can only wear the clothes and shoes left by my stepmother, and the only clothes that belong to me are just a few sets of school uniforms? Why did my stepmother always hit and pinch me? She even whipped me with a willow stick? Why can my younger brother bully me at will? Hubby, slow down, Junbao is sleeping, don't wake him up Tilda. Hey, it's okay, just put that on Tilda. Hate Tilda. Listening to the lewd music coming from the bedroom, Song Siyi blushed, covered her ears, and felt depressed. Why don't I have my own room? Why is my bed this hard, narrow sofa? Why is my desk a coffee table? Why can my clothes only be piled on the floor? Teacher's office. Dad, he was the one who drew on my clothes and hit me, and I didn't fight back. Why should I apologize? Song Siyi said with a look of grievance on her face. Yeah, Song Siyi's father, aren't you going a bit too far? The teacher at the side couldn't stand it anymore. Apologize quickly, I'm still at work, and you delayed me for several hours, hurry up. The middle-aged man demanded, as if he hadn't heard the girls' and the teacher's complaints. Sorry. After hearing Song Siyi's apology, the smugness on the faces of the other parent and the child became even more obvious. Why do I have to apologize when I was clearly the one being bullied? In the milk tea shop. Siyi, how can I give you this month's salary? I don't have a cell phone, can I get cash? Okay. Soon, Song Siyi took the cash from the store manager and thanked him with a smile. Thank you, store manager Tilda. But when they got home, the middle-aged man snatched the cash from Song Siyi's pocket, counted it, and found that there was exactly 2,000 yuan. Okay, from now on, you should hand over all your wages to me. As a girl, why would you spend money on anything? Your brother has been asking to buy a new phone recently, so it's a good opportunity to add some extra money. In the future, you should find a rich man to marry, give some money to the family, and buy a house for your brother. That's the right thing to do. Song Siyi was angry but dared not say anything. She clenched her hands, sat silently on the lime floor, and lay on the coffee table to write her summer homework. Why should I hand over the money I earn myself? Can't I buy something of my own? Why did you use my money to buy your brother a new phone? But I don't even have my own cell phone. Chapter 12 Song Siyi's Experience Part 2. 16 years old. Dad, number 1 middle school stipulates that we cannot go home at noon and have to eat at school. Can you give me some money for lunch? It's just skipping a meal. Just think of it as losing weight. Don't bother me. The middle-aged man drove Song Siyi away and concentrated on the work at hand. At school, the girl watched other students rushing to the cafeteria every noon, while she could only distract herself from hunger by drinking water. She was neither envious nor dissatisfied, but just studied hard. Return home one day. As soon as Song Siyi entered the door, the middle-aged man closed the newspaper and said, "By the way, the school wants to invite you to be a spokesperson for something. The remuneration is 100,000 yuan. I am your guardian. The contract has been signed on your behalf. You just need to listen to the school's arrangements." Song Siyi was about to retort, but when she thought of the beating her stepmother would give her when she came back, she endured it again and went to the kitchen to cook silently. As long as this man is still willing to help her with her tuition and fees, she doesn't care. She just wants to study hard, get into college, and stay away from them and this family. This is where the memories end. Song Siyi's voice was already filled with a strong tone of crying. Tears flowed down my cheeks onto my pajamas like a kite with a broken string. She became more and more excited, but last night, my father sold me to a divorced coal boss in his 40s who lived in a mountain village because of a 150,000 yuan betrothal gift. Why? Why would he do this to me? Woohoo, I am also his child. If he doesn't like me, why did he give birth to me? Why did he keep me? Woohoo, I study hard and try not to make mistakes, just because I'm afraid he won't even give me the chance to go to school. But why? What do I have to do for him to let me go? Woohoo, I also want to be loved, I also want to have my own room and clothes, I also want to eat delicious food and drink delicious drinks. Is there anything wrong with that? Why can my brother do it but I can't? Woo woo woo. Song Siyi's emotions completely collapsed. She pulled her cute little feet out of her slippers, curled up her legs on the sofa, clasped her hands together, and buried her head in tears. Jiyu Qingchen seemed to have returned to the time when he first met the girl on the rainy night yesterday. After listening to all of Song Siyi's experiences, he felt a dull pain in his heart, and a feeling as if something was blocking his chest. So what are the good girls who are academic geniuses? So what are the fairies who have fallen into the mortal world and are not affected by worldly affairs? Some are just poor girls who are persecuted by an unscrupulous family and want to escape. He finally understood why her underwear was so mature and sexy, why she had that look in her eyes when she ate snacks and drank coke, and why she endured the bullying silently. What's the point of telling the school teacher about such a scumbag father who is one thing in public and another in private? Call the police? Song Siyi is such a good student, how could she not know that child abuse and selling girls in the name of bride price are illegal? But he is her biological father after all, and it may also be that she doesn't want to lose the only relative around her. As for why Song Siyi ran away from home in the rain last night and why her body was covered with scars, the answer is obvious. Perhaps if he hadn't appeared, the matter of accepting gifts and selling her daughter would have been the last straw that broke the camel's back. Chapter 13 Silent Comfort, The Girl's Selfishness. Looking at the crying girl, Jiyu Qingchen slowly moved his body and sat beside her. After patting Song Siyi's shoulder, he said nothing, as if he was silently comforting her. However, what he didn't expect was that Song Siyi suddenly opened her arms and hugged him tightly, burying her delicate face deeply in the crook of his neck. The warm tears flowed across Jiyu Qingchen's skin and soaked the collar of his shirt. The older boy was stunned for a moment, feeling the softness pressing on his chest. He raised his arms slightly, at a loss, his body tense, not knowing what to do for a moment. This was the first time he was hugged by a girl and his heart beat faster. After adjusting for a while, Jiyu Qingchen slowly lowered his arms, hugged Song Siyi, and gently patted her back with his right hand as if coaxing a child. I don't know how long it took. Song Siyi's crying had subsided, and she suddenly realized that she was in Jiyu Qingchen's arms. So, she immediately propped herself up and got up from his arms. Her eyes were red from crying, and her face was like a ripe red apple. Seeing the boy's shirt soaked with tears, Song Siyi quickly apologized. I'm sorry, I'll wash it for you. Jiyu Qingchen waved his hand nonchalantly and changed the subject. How are you? Are you feeling better? Well, thank you Tilder, Song Siyi said gratefully. Indeed, finding someone to talk to helped alleviate a lot of the grievances in my heart. Jiyu Qingchen didn't wait for Song Siyi to calm down, and asked directly, what are you going to do in the future? From what you said, your father is determined to sell your daughter. If you still want to go to college with peace of mind, either call the police or find someone to calm him down. Otherwise, once he finds out what university you are attending, he will come over and make a scene. Not only will you not be able to go to school, but you will also have to leave it to fate. Things have come to this point. If the problem is not resolved quickly, once her scumbag father goes to the school and makes a scene, Song Siyi will be forcibly taken home and her fate of being sold will become inevitable. The internet communication in the small mountain village is not well developed, and the coal boss is the local tyrant. Once you are brought into the village quietly, you will never get out in your lifetime. As long as the villagers insist that there is no such person, it will be useless no matter how many times they call the police. After all, they haven't broken any law, so they can't be beaten or searched, and they are playing around with the idea of the law doesn't hold everyone responsible. Call the police and send your scumbag father to jail yourself. It's not easy. Because most of the abuse was done by her stepmother, it is not necessarily possible to pin the blame on the scumbag father. Selling the girl for 150,000 was just a verbal agreement. After all, Song Siyi hadn't gone there yet, and the coal boss couldn't be stupid enough to just give the money or sign any contract. It would be even more impossible to give up going to school temporarily and hide at home. Once the scumbag dad calls the police and says the child is missing, he will put on a double-faced face. Even if Song Siyi were to reveal the true face of her scumbag father, the police would most likely let the case go if they found no substantial evidence after investigation. Therefore, there is only one way before Song Siyi. Just find someone capable and completely crush the scumbag dad. Song Siyi shook her head in confusion, she didn't know what to do. In fact, the reason why I am telling you all this today is not only to vent the grievances in my heart, but also because of some selfish motives. From the moment the boy appeared in front of her in the rain last night, she wanted to be selfish for once, wanting this boy who had helped her, warmed her, and whom she could trust wholeheartedly to save her. Even if it's just to lend a hand to help her. Chapter 14, White Lies, Living Together, begins. And Jiyu Qingchen's next answer did not disappoint her. I can help you get rid of that family and stay away from your incompetent father. On the contrary, I also have conditions. How about it? Consider it. Hearing that Jiyu Qingchen was willing to help her, Song Siyi nodded without hesitation and agreed, okay, no problem. Okay, I'll help you solve the problem. From now on, until you graduate from college, I will cover your tuition, clothing, food, housing, transportation, food, drink, and entertainment. No matter how much you spend during this period, you don't have to pay it back. In contrast, you have to study hard. I don't care what subject you major in college, but you must minor in accounting-related knowledge, and after graduation, work for me for at least 5 years at a low salary. Of course, it's a low salary, but I will pay you enough to cope with your daily life according to the current prices, but I just can't save much. After saying so much, only Jiyu Qingchen himself knew that this was just an excuse to make Song Siyi feel at ease to accept help. However, it is possible for him to create a small company in the future. Although he may not make hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars like his mother's group, he can at least maintain his current high-quality life. Therefore, it is important to have a trustworthy financial support when the time comes. It would be best if Song Siyi abides by the agreement, but it doesn't matter if she doesn't, just consider it as an investment failure. Song Siyi nodded and agreed to this condition, but she added, the university only needs to help me pay for the first year's tuition, and I will work to earn the rest. But Jiyu Qingchen refused, okay, don't refuse. University is a small society. If you are too shabby, you will be looked down upon and bullied. I work for you for at least 5 years with low wages in exchange for giving you a high-quality life. This is called an equal exchange. You can think of it as an advance payment of your salary. Hearing the boy say this, Song Siyi stopped being stubborn. As for living, should I rent a house for you to stay temporarily for 3 months until the university starts, or can you live directly with me? Jiyu Qingchen asked. Can I live here? Song Siyi looked at Jiyu Qingchen, her eyes filled with anticipation. There is nothing happier than waking up every day and seeing your favorite person. Of course I wouldn't object to living with a beautiful woman. It would also save me some trouble. Jiyu Qingchen was also happy about this, and then he changed the subject. Well, since you live here, I'm tired of eating takeout and need to cook and occasionally clean up, so I'll rely on you. I'm really lazy. Of course, I will give you 3,000 yuan every month, keep it as pocket money. Song Siyi waved her hand, no, just consider it as my rent for living here for 3 months tilde. Okay, just do as I say. Is your dad home now? Jiyu Qingchen didn't want to dwell on this matter any longer, as there was still the issue of Lao Deng that needed to be dealt with. Although there are still nearly 3 months of vacation, in order to prevent any trouble, and since I have nothing to do now, I might as well go over and press him to death. He should be here. He works as a driver for a boss and usually goes to the company at 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Song Siyi said. Jiyu Qingchen glanced at his phone and it was already past 3 p.m. Okay, go get your school uniform and shoes from the washing machine on the balcony and change into them. They should have been dried by now. Let's go to your house. Good. Song Siyi went to the balcony, and Jiyu Qingchen went back to the bedroom to change into a men's coat and trousers. When he came out, he saw the school beauty Song, wearing a school uniform and a ponytail, sitting on the sofa. The youthful feeling that comes to your face and the pure and lovely first love face are really heart-stirring. Ahem, let's go. Jiyu Qingchen silently chanted Amitabha several times, went to the entrance to change his shoes, and left home with Song Siyi. Chapter 15, Beat Up the Scumbag Dad. A dilapidated old neighborhood. The buildings here are only 4 or 5 stories high, with red brick walls and no decoration at all. As for greenery, there is none at all. There were debris piled everywhere, bicycles parked randomly, the corridors were short and narrow, and it was difficult for light to get in. Building 4, 3rd floor. Song Siyi gently knocked on the iron door of the east house. Soon, a middle-aged man with a handsome appearance pushed open the door and looked out. The moment he saw Song Siyi again, he yelled, "You fucking little bitch, you still remember to come back. You are such an ungrateful person that you even learned to run away from home. If you delay Boss Wang from picking up the bride, I will beat you to death, you bitch. You are just like your damn mother, you just need to be disciplined. After you get married, you should serve Boss Wang well and try to make more money for the family. Your brother is still waiting for money to buy a house and get married. Did you hear that, you bastard? If one day Boss Wang gets tired of you and kicks you back, I will let you go to the club to pick up customers and make money." Song Siyi had become immune to the man's curses and had no reaction at all. Just when he got tired of scolding and was about to reach out and grab her hair, Jiyu Qingchen, who was standing by, quickly turned off the recording on his phone, pulled Song Siyi out from behind the door, and without saying a word, kicked the middle-aged man in the chest with great force. He was kicked directly 3 or 4 meters away and fell heavily to the ground. Song Siyi was startled by Jiyu Qingchen's sudden move, and the middle-aged man was also stunned. "You little bitch, how dare you bring a pretty boy back to fight?" Jiyu Qingchen didn't give the man a chance to speak. She walked into the room, pinched both sides of his cheeks and lifted him back. Without even giving the man a chance to resist, he slammed his head hard onto the wooden sofa behind him. "Kill me if you dare. Otherwise, I will sue you until you lose everything." The middle-aged man, who was hit hard, threatened in a broken voice. Seeing this, Song Siyi hurried over and grabbed Jiyu Qingchen's arm, begging, "Stop hitting me. If you continue, something bad will happen. It's not that I feel sorry for my scumbag father, but I'm afraid that the person I like will be implicated." Jiyu Qingchen also knew when to stop. He leaned forward slightly and said to the man, "This is your punishment for being mean. Now, let's talk. You're just after money, aren't you? I'll give you 200,000 and your daughter will be mine. How about that?" When Song Siyi heard that she was going to give him 200,000, she quickly pulled Jiyu Qingchen's clothes and said, "No. It's too much. It's not worth it." Jiyu Qingchen ignored her. She couldn't lose her dignity, otherwise this man would lose his respect. When the middle-aged man heard that the money he was going to give was more than what Boss Wang had given him, he immediately changed his tone. 300,000 yuan. You hit me, and this is for medical expenses. Otherwise, I will call the police. Also, you have to talk to Boss Wang in person, since she is his fiancée after all. Oh, you are quite greedy. I told you that this was a punishment. How could I possibly give you money?" Jiyu Qingchen sneered, "I'll leave you out of this matter. You better stop being so clever like 2 tigers fighting each other. I'll take the person away. As for how you explain it, it's none of my business. You think Boss Wang is hard to offend, but I am easy to offend." Then, Jiyu Qingchen leaned over to the middle-aged man and whispered in his ear, "I am a rich second generation. Do you think I dare to inject you into the cement and sink you into the river silently? Your son is quite cute, just like your puppy. I wonder if he can be trained." "No. No, no, no. Okay, 200,000, that's 200,000. Don't touch my son. Looking at Ji Yuqingchen's sharp eyes and his ruthless attack without hesitation, the middle-aged man realized that the boy in front of him, who was the same age as his daughter, was by no means a simple rich second generation, and that his precious son was also involved, so he compromised immediately. You are a smart person. You can decide whether to call the police or not. Give me the household registration booklet and I will return it to you after I have used it. Stay away from Song Siyi from now on, or I will take your son home to entertain him. Good. The middle-aged man swallowed, got up and went to the bedroom. Chapter 16. The joke is too big. Siyi, go pack your things. Song Siyi looked at him blankly, but shook her head. There is nothing here that belongs to me. Hearing this, Ji Yuqingchen rubbed her head with heartache and said nothing. The sudden and intimate pat on the head made Song Siyi lower her head shyly. After waiting at the door for a while, the scumbag dad hurried out with the household registration book. After Ji Yuqingchen took it, he asked, by the way, what's the full name of the boss Wang you mentioned? Where does he live now? Where is the coal yard he runs? The middle-aged man did not dare to hesitate. My name is Huang Zhongxian, and I live in a small village called Yunshan Village near Xinping County. As for his coal yard, I really don't know. Okay, give me your bank card number. The money will be in your account within 4 hours. You can take care of yourself. After getting the card number, Ji Yuqingchen gave this scumbag father a cold look and left with Song Siyi. The girl looked at the ferocious boy the whole time and suddenly felt a little strange. As if this is the real him, or both of them are him. On the way, Song Siyi looked at Ji Yuqingchen with a very gentle gaze, and muttered, I know you have money, but 200,000 is too much. Are you considering it? It's really not worth it for me. And it would be a waste to give it to that man. At this moment, she felt an unprecedented sense of relief, as if she had broken free from shackles. She was deeply moved by Ji Yuqingchen, but she also didn't want the person she liked to give so much for her. Ji Yuqingchen transferred the money and joked, okay, just consider it as a way to repay your father for raising you and giving you the betrothal gift. You are my fiancé now, Tilda. But when he turned around, he found that Song Siyi's face was full of blush, her pink lips slightly opened, and she slowly uttered, okay. He felt the joke was too much. So, he quickly tried to smooth things over, okay, I was just joking with you. You are just grateful now, but this is not love. If you still have this idea after a while, I don't mind having a sweet relationship with a beautiful woman. Song Siyi looked a little disappointed and relieved when she heard this. She just said, softly, and I don't know what she was thinking. Ji Yuqingchen didn't notice her mood change at this time. He just took out his cell phone and called Sister Miaoshu. After a few system sounds, the melodious female voice sounded, What's wrong, Chen? Sister Miaoshu, what happened to that old man? I only heard a sigh from the other end of the phone, he's still in the ICU. The situation is not optimistic. I guess he will only survive in the next 2 days. Well, Ji Yuqingchen hesitated for a moment, but in order to avoid any trouble, he still said, Sister Miaoshu, I want to trouble you for something. I'll give you the information of both of them later. One of them should be running an illegal coal mine, otherwise there is no reason for him to live in a small village. He must have a lot of stains, and he probably bribed the villagers there. You can just put in some effort to get him in. Another one is suspected of child abuse and trafficking women in the name of bride price. Without putting him in jail, he should be punished first so that he has no time to take care of anything other than himself. If that doesn't work, get him in again. After all, he is Song Siyi's biological father, and he has raised her to this age. If the other party can calm down, he will naturally not do anything too drastic. If he can't calm down, let him eat some jail food, or put aside your pride and beg his mother, then snap. The female voice on the phone was silent for a long time before she replied, Okay, don't worry about it. Send me everything you know and I'll handle it. No problem, let's not talk about it for now, I'll send it to you when I get home. Okay, be safe on the road. Chapter 17, Ordinary People. After hanging up the phone, Song Siyi, who had been eavesdropping on the whole process, said nothing, but just leaned a little closer to Ji Yuqingchen. On the way, Ji Yuqingchen went to a pharmacy and bought a few bottles of blood-activating and blood stasis-removing spray. Then the two took a taxi back to Moxiang Academy. After returning home, Jiyu Qingchen took Song Siyi directly into the second bedroom. School beauty Song, please lift up your clothes on the back. Song Siyi cooperated very well. She took off her coat and slowly lifted up her clothes, revealing her beautiful white back. Jiyu Qingchen didn't appreciate it too much. He sprayed some blood-activating and blood stasis-removing medicine on her and let Song Siyi put down her clothes. Then, he handed the medicine to her and said, "Spray the rest yourself." Then he asked, "What's your father's name?" Song Siyi replied, "Song Tai-jun." "Okay, keep the medicine. Just spray it once a day. If you find something you can't spray, just come to me." "Okay, Tilda," the girl nodded shyly. Then, Jiyu Qingchen sent the recording and all the edited known information to Sister Miao Shu's email. At the same time, I also informed them on WeChat, they have all been sent. The woman quickly replied, "Okay, leave it to me. I'll contact you if I need you." Jiyu Qingchen, "Okay. Okay, it's all solved. I guess your father won't be able to bother you again in this life." Jiyu Qingchen said with a smile. "Thank you, Tilda." After thanking her, Song Siyi asked curiously, "That Sister Miashu, is she that powerful? How come she solved everything with just one phone call?" Jiyu Qingchen smiled mysteriously. "Not only is he powerful, he is from a red family. The current #1 in the country, and there are many high-ranking officials serving in various important positions, all of whom were his father's former students or disciples, and their prestige is extremely high. As long as it does not violate the law, there is nothing that cannot be resolved." Song Siyi couldn't close her mouth in surprise. "You actually have such a powerful relative, your family should be pretty good, right? But why do you want to go to school in a small city like Linjiang?" The girl caught the highlight. "Just think of me as an ordinary person who doesn't like the atmosphere of big cities and has an aunt who likes to pamper me." Jiyu Qingchen did not give any explanation. Seeing that he was unwilling to talk, Song Siyi wisely stopped asking and changed the question, "Aunt? Isn't it my sister?" Jiyu Qingchen smiled awkwardly upon hearing this, as if recalling some bad memories, and explained, "In terms of seniority, I should call her aunt, but she felt that I called her too old, and the teachings of Wu Shanli since childhood forced me to change my way of speaking, so I call her sister." "Oh. Song Siyi nodded without any doubt. Jiyu Qingchen, who had nothing to do, was afraid that Song Siyi would be bored, so he moved a dining chair and took her to his bedroom, preparing to teach her how to play games to pass the time. The girl looked around curiously. Although there was no peculiar smell in the room, she couldn't help but complain when she saw the messy bed and desk. "It's so messy." Jiyu Qingchen had nothing to say, because it was really chaotic. He sat on the dining chair, pushed the gaming chair to his side and said, "Sit down." Song Siyi also sat down as instructed. The perfect arched back design made her lean back involuntarily. Jiyu Qingchen let her try different games, such as CSGO, LOL, Teamfight, Minecraft, Don't Starve, Chicken Dinner, Escape from Tarkov, and even Ice and Fire Forest and Three Kingdoms Kill. The conclusion is that Song Siyi is not interested in games at all. It's the type that can be played but not interesting. Jiyu Qingchen had no choice but to hand over his phone and said, "You should just check Douyin or browse it yourself. The password is 060305. Tomorrow I will take you to transfer your ID card and household registration, and do some shopping at the same time." Song Siyi took the phone and tilted her head in confusion. "What are you buying?" "Then don't worry about it, just follow my instructions." Jiyu Qingchen deliberately kept the question in suspense. "All right." Song Siyi was tactful enough not to ask any further questions. I fiddled with the phone for a while and quickly unlocked the screen. Although she had never played with a mobile phone, she had seen her father, stepmother and younger brother play with them at home, so it was easy for her to get started. Chapter 18, The School Beauty Song Who Secretly Does Bad Things. The sun sets in the west. The hazy night has spread from the horizon. Our Tilder, Jiyu Qingchen raised his hands high, stretched hard and said, "No more playing, I'm going to go out to buy food, you wait at home. I can do it for you." Song Siyi immediately put down the phone and said. Jiyu Qingchen took some cash from the drawer and patted her on the shoulder. "A good cook cannot cook without rice. There are only eggs, noodles and milk drinks at home. You can't cook anything even if you want to." What do you want to eat? I'll buy it for you. Song Siyi shook her head, I don't know either. I'll eat whatever you buy. She has never touched the food on the street, so she really doesn't know. All right. After saying that, Jiyu Qingchen pushed open the door, changed his shoes in the entrance hall, and left the house directly. When the girl saw that she was alone, she became bolder. Before, she only dared to watch TikTok, but now she could secretly watch other things. With strong curiosity, she switched several softwares back and forth and roughly understood what these softwares were used for. Finally, while flipping through the pages, I accidentally opened a collection folder called Learning Materials, and the ones in front of it were all normal browsers, video platforms, etc. But when I turned to the next page, I saw some weird-looking software. I randomly opened one of the software. Suddenly, one after another of cartoon pictures that were not exciting, colorful, eye-catching came into view. The door to Song Siyi's new world, which was originally half open, was fully opened at this moment. After all, she often heard her father and stepmother having sex in the bedroom, so she knew something about this kind of thing. After opening a comic and reading more than 40 chapters, Song Siyi blushed and muttered to herself, how can it be like this? It's really unbearable to watch. However, she kept it in her mind, thinking that she and Jiyu Qingchen might be able to use it in the future. When she came to her senses, her face flushed red. She quickly closed the software and the background, put her phone back on the table with the screen off, and tidied up Jiyu Qingchen's desk and bed with a guilty conscience, as if this would prevent Jiyu Qingchen from noticing anything. About 10 minutes later, as the door beeped as the password was entered, Jiyu Qingchen shouted, School beauty song, it's time for dinner. Okay Tilda, I'm coming. Song Siyi replied in the same loud voice, piled up the last of the test papers, and then hurriedly pushed the door to the living room. Jiyu Qingchen had already opened the lids of the food and placed it in place. He then took a screwdriver from the kitchen and opened 2 bottles of soda. Looking at Song Siyi, who was already sitting at the dining table but with a red face, he handed over chopsticks and rice and asked, why is your face so red? Do you have a fever again? It would have been fine if she hadn't asked. As soon as she asked, she remembered the plot of the comic she had just peeked at, and her face turned even redder because she had done that. No, it's just a little hot, Song Siyi said, trying to stay calm. Jiyu Qingchen looked at her doubtfully for a while, but didn't bother about it anymore. He went to the coffee table, picked up the remote control of the central air conditioner, and turned it down a few degrees. After returning to the dining table and sitting down, he pushed the soda in front of Song Siyi and said, this is lychee-flavored soda. See if it suits your taste. If you don't like it, I'll get you a Coke. This is boiled pork slices, my favorite, try it. Okay Tilda. Song Siyi couldn't wait to start eating, taking a sip of drink and picking up a piece of meat. That sparkling little look has never disappeared. Chapter 19, The Academic Master's Impressions of the Film. After a satisfying meal, Song Siyi sat on the sofa and burped. Jiyu Qingchen smiled slightly, picked up the remote control, turned on the TV and suggested, School beauty song, do you want to watch a movie? It's all right Tilda. Although she said that, one could hear anticipation in Song Siyi's tone. Following this, she continued, that girl named Song Xiaohua is so strange. Isn't it nice that you call her Siyi in my house? Jiyu Qingchen explained, I did that to show my dominance in front of your father, otherwise I won't be able to control him. If you don't mind, I'll call you that from now on. Okay Tilda. Song Siyi smiled sweetly after hearing this. Afterwards, Jiyu Qingchen found a movie called The Wandering Earth 2, which was released at the beginning of last year and played it. Song Siyi watched the whole process very attentively, and would even exclaim, wow, when she saw shocking scenes, like a child who was exposed to new things, which made Jiyu Qingchen feel distressed. At the same time, he secretly planned that if he had the chance in the future, he would take her to make up for the missed eating, drinking and fun. After a movie, Song Siyi still felt a little unsatisfied. She turned to Jiyu Qingchen and asked, is Yaya really alive? Is she really reunited with her father? Your angle for asking questions is really tricky. Jiyu Qingchen didn't understand the nerd's train of thought, but he still patiently answered, I personally think that in a sense, they did survive. But in terms of the meaning of life, every life is unique, and any other form of continuation is nothing more than a replacement, not a resurrection. Or maybe they were already new individuals from the moment they were born. Song Siyi thought for a while, then nodded in agreement. What you said makes sense. Okay, college nerd, it's getting late. Get some rest. I still have to take you shopping tomorrow. Jiyu Qingchen looked at the time on TV and said. Okay, good night Tilda. Good night. After saying good night to each other, they both returned to their own rooms. When Jiyu Qingchen pushed the door open, he saw the tidy desk and bed. Books and test papers were stacked in a row against the wall, classified by category, and stationery was neatly placed on the right. The quilt was neatly folded at the foot of the bed, and the sheets were spread very flat with almost no wrinkles visible. This girl. Jiyu Qingchen smiled helplessly, picked up the mobile phone on the table, took off his clothes, lay on the bed, read a novel for a while, then turned off the lights and went to sleep. Early morning. The sun is dim and the sky is grey. It should be a cloudy day. Jiyu Qingchen returned home after his morning run and saw a funny and graceful figure with long flowing hair in the kitchen, holding her trouser waist in one hand and a spatula in the other. I knew you got up to cook. Luckily you didn't buy breakfast. Jiyu Qingchen came to Song Siyi and said. Tilda, the girl smiled back and said, fried eggs, but unfortunately there is no bread, only milk. At home, most of the breakfasts she prepared were these, although there was no share for her. It's okay, just eat something simple. I'll take you to a good meal at noon after I finish my work in the morning. After saying that, Jiyu Qingchen left the kitchen and went to the bathroom. He spent a few minutes taking a simple shower, then returned to the bedroom to change out of his sportswear. When Jiyu Qingchen, wearing a white t-shirt and jeans, came out, fried eggs and warm milk were already on the dining table. Song Siyi sat obediently on the chair waiting for him. Chapter 20 The Girl's Affectionate Eyes. Why are you waiting for me? Just eat first. Jiyu Qingchen pulled out a chair and sat down. It's okay Tilda, it won't take a while. Song Siyi looked at him tenderly. For some reason, the girl's tone was always soft and sticky, no longer as polite as yesterday. It seemed that in these 1 day and 2 nights, she treated Jiyu Qingchen as a family member. Seeing Jiyu Qingchen pick up an egg and stuff it into his mouth without hesitation, she quickly said, eat slowly. You may choke easily. As she spoke, she moved the milk towards him. Fine. Jiyu Qingchen picked up the milk and took a sip, but when he ate the egg, he only bit half of it. While eating, he sent a message to Shinmieshu, asking her to find someone to help relax the conditions and move Song Siyi's household registration out first, so that at least she would not be too restricted by that scumbag father in the future. Shinmieshu agreed readily. She first asked for a photo of her household registration booklet. Seeing Jiyu Qingchen go into their house and come out again after a while, Song Siyi didn't care and just ate quietly. After the two finished their meal, Song Siyi also went back to the room and prepared to change into her school uniform. After all, pajamas are too inconvenient. It is easy to expose yourself when shopping. Besides, who would wear pajamas when going out shopping in broad daylight? At this time, Shinmieshu also sent a phone call. Find the director of this police station, he will help. If he can't handle it, call me directly. Jiyu Qingchen, okay, go ahead and do your work. I won't bother you anymore. Shinmieshu, you little brat, don't you want to thank me? Jiyu Qingchen, I don't need to thank you for your kindness. Shinmieshu, looking for a beating. Beat expression, beat expression. Let's go. Looking at Song Siyi, who had changed into her school uniform and tied her hair into a ponytail, Jiyu Qingchen greeted her. Here I come Tilda. The girl came to him with cheerful little steps. Just arrived at the police station. Before I could even make a phone call, I saw a middle-aged man walk out. He extended his hand and said, Hello, I'm the chief of Shuefu Road Police Station, my name is Marwengua, you are Mr. Jiyu Qingchen, right? Because this road is located between two school district housing communities, Moxiang Academy and Wenren Huafu, as well as a middle school and 2 junior high schools, it is called Shuefu Road. This police station is located here, so it is called Shuefu Road Police Station. Generally, people who settle in this area need to come here to handle related business. Jiyu Qingchen stretched out his hand and shook hands with Director Mar, and replied, Yes, I am. I have heard from the higher-ups about your situation. I will handle your case on a special basis. Come with me. Since Jiyu Qingchen's household registration is not in Linjiang, Song Siyi cannot be transferred to his household registration and can only be moved out alone. But if you don't meet the requirements to move out alone, you can only find someone to handle it specially. After all, everything happens for a reason, and no one would dwell on such a small matter. After working hard for nearly a morning, Song Siyi's household registration was moved out of the original household registration book. By the way, I also applied for an ID card, which will be mailed to me in about half a month. After saying goodbye to Director Mar, the girl was skipping on the road, happily holding up the household registration book that contained only her, with a beaming smile on her face. She finally got away from that home and was free from any constraints. In addition to the law, it is also affected by blood ties, but that scumbag father can no longer force her to do anything. She knew that this matter could be done so smoothly, all because of Ji Yu Ching Chen. Suddenly, the girl looked at him without blinking, with such tenderness and affection that it could draw silk threads out of her. Ji Yu Ching Chen naturally didn't notice this because he was swiping his phone screen to call Didi. Chapter 21 Large Purchase Part 1. After calling a Didi, the two arrived at the largest shopping mall in the area, Fengyuan Shopping Center. Because of the summer vacation, there are a lot of young people here, but they are probably all students who have finished the college entrance examination. After all, other grades still have to attend classes. On the road, many boys would unconsciously look at Song Siyi when passing by them. After all, she is the school belle. Her pure temperament and first love-like face are the most attractive to adolescent boys even without nice clothes. Besides, are school uniforms ugly? Do you know what kind of sexy clothing is? But Song Siyi didn't pay attention to all this. At this moment, she was overwhelmed by looking at the huge shopping mall. This was her first time here. In the past, she bought vegetables and meat from privately owned stores, which were cheaper. As for shopping for clothes, it is even more impossible. The first floor is usually occupied by food and drink shops. Ji Yu Ching Chen bought a cup of pearl milk tea for Song Siyi at Mishuai City, and then took her to the women's clothing area on the second floor. When she was going up the escalator stairs, she hesitated a bit before stepping onto the stairs all at once. It was quite funny. Arriving at the nearest store, a saleslady quickly came over and asked, "Hello, welcome." "Hello, this dress, please get a size similar to hers, thank you." Ji Yu Ching Chen pointed to a white floral dress and pushed Song Siyi beside her. "Okay." The clerk took a look at the girl's general body shape and went to the warehouse to get clothes that matched her size. "Buy me clothes?" Song Siyi asked in confusion, tilting her head while holding the straw of her milk tea. "Yes, everything today is bought for you. You can't be without even some decent clothes." Ji Yu Ching Chen nodded. "How come?" Song Siyi was about to refuse, but was interrupted by Ji Yu Ching Chen who had predicted it. "Stop, just take what I buy for you today. If I hear you trying to refuse, I'll spank you 10 times when I get home." Song Siyi blushed slightly when she heard this, and said subconsciously, "But..." Snap. Because there were clothes on it, the sound was not very clear. Ji Yu Ching Chen clenched his palm and tasted it, saying, "It feels good." Song Siyi was stunned for a moment, then covered her slightly painful butt with one hand, her face flushed and she lowered her head deeply, saying in a barely perceptible voice of shame and anger, "Bad bastard." Soon, the clerk came over with a dress. Ji Yu Ching Chen took the milk tea from Song Siyi and asked the clerk to take her to the fitting room. On the way, the clerk looked at the blushing girl and teased her kindly, "First love, right? Are you so shy just to change your clothes for him to see?" Song Siyi glanced at Ji Yu Ching Chen secretly, did not refute, nodded shyly, and said, "You should have graduated, right? Campus romance is beautiful, but you have to protect yourself tilde." "Thanks." Song Siyi understood what the female clerk meant, but she ignored her reminder. "Okay, the fitting room is inside. If it's too big or too small, just tell me and I'll change it for you," the female clerk said, pointing to a small room. "Good." About 2 minutes later, Song Siyi came to Ji Yu Ching Chen wearing a white dress. "Is it nice? Turn around and let me take a look," Ji Yu Ching Chen said with his chin raised. After hearing this, Song Siyi turned around obediently. "Yeah, it suits you very well." Then, he said to the female clerk beside him, "Please issue the ticket, and by the way, give her the clothes I just picked out." "Good." Next, Song Siyi changed into an off-shoulder suspender t-shirt and jeans. After paying for the dress together with the previous one, Jiyu Qingchen went to the restaurant upstairs, holding the shopping bag in one hand and holding the wrist of the girl who had changed back into the dress with the other. "Let's go, let's eat first, and buy the rest in the afternoon." Jiyu Qingchen glanced at his phone and said. "Good." Song Siyi naturally followed Jiyu Qingchen's arrangements. Chapter 22 Large Purchase Part 2. Came to a hot pot restaurant. Led by the waiter, they sat at a table near the back. After picking up the menu, Jiyu Qingchen ordered a shabu shabu hot pot, 4 servings of lamb, 4 servings of beef, as well as common hot pot dishes such as lettuce, shrimp, and tripe, plus 2 bottles of iced orange juice. The waiter checked off the items on his handheld electronic menu one by one and went off to serve other guests. "Wait a moment, I'll go make the sauce for you." Jiyu Qingchen stood up, took his and Song Siyi's bowls, and went to the seasoning table. After a while, he came back with 2 prepared dishes: sesame paste, sweet vinegar, and sesame oil. I didn't dare put chili in it. Placing one of the portions in front of Song Siyi, Jiyu Qingchen introduced the dipping sauce he had carefully prepared. "Good." Song Siyi didn't know how to make it delicious, but since Jiyu Qingchen was there, she just had to accept it. After waiting for less than 10 minutes, the hot pot, side dishes, and drinks were served. Jiyu Qingchen unscrewed the orange juice and handed it to Song Siyi, then put the meat and vegetables evenly into the pot of spicy and clear soup, and then evenly added the shrimp paste little by little. Then, he pointed at the tripe and said, "Put it in the hot soup and wait for about 15 seconds before eating." "Okay, Tilda." Although Song Siyi didn't know why, she knew it was right to listen to Jiyu Qingchen. After a satisfying hot pot meal, the two rested in the store for a while before leaving to continue their shopping. Later, Jiyu Qingchen first bought 8 sets of clothes for Song Siyi for spring and autumn, 10 sets for summer, and 5 sets for winter. "I looked through about 20 pairs of shoes that matched the clothes I just wore, including small leather shoes, canvas shoes, dad shoes, flat shoes, long boots, cotton shoes, patent leather high heels, lace-up high-heeled sandals, etc., basically 2 pairs of each. Cotton socks of varying lengths, over-the-knee socks, and black and white stockings were all included. I also bought some home slippers and pajamas. The pajamas were just normal cotton styles, and the most outrageous was just an ice silk nightgown. I can only buy the more sexy and open ones later." "You said I bought too much." Jiyu Qingchen only said, "I am not short of money, Song Siyi just happens to need these urgently, and they are all worn for herself. Will he think it is too much?" As for spending money to support someone else's wife, it was nonsense. He was not stupid and could see that Song Siyi had a good impression of him. If he could let them all escape, he could cut them off to permanently punish them. Song Siyi was too tired to talk at this point. She was numb just from trying on clothes. Any embarrassment, any excuses, any reserve, none of it matters anymore. She could see that Jiyu Qingchen was really rich. He paid without blinking an eye and even enjoyed doing it. It was as if he didn't know what to do with the money he earned, and now there was finally something that interested him and he could work hard on it. Anyway, she would accept whatever Jiyu Qingchen bought for her. She had already spent 200,000 yuan, so it didn't matter if she had a little more debt. At worst, she could just pledge her love to him. Why do I always feel like I'm repaying kindness with enmity? But I am a beauty, right? My figure should be good, and I am not a bad woman who cheats on her husband or changes her mind every day. At worst, I can give birth to a few more children for him in the future. He shouldn't lose much, right? And it is said that rich people are dishonest. At most, he is allowed to secretly have a mistress outside, but he is not allowed to bring her home. Nor is he allowed to have children. If Jiyu Qingchen knew the girl's outrageous thoughts, he would definitely give her 5 words. Study. Extreme. Love. Love. Brain. Chapter 23, Big Purchase Part 2. On their way to the 3rd floor of the mall, Jiyu Qingchen suddenly noticed a stepmother skirt worn by a model in front of a store. He immediately wanted to see what Song Siyi would look like after putting it on. So, he immediately pointed at the model and asked her, "Siyi, do you want to try that dress?" Song Siyi looked at the extremely slim-fitting purple tight skirt. A hint of embarrassment flashed across her eyes, but she nodded and said, "If you want to see it, I can try." "Okay." After getting her consent, Jiyu Qingchen took her into the store and said to the clerk, "Please find a tight skirt in her size, which is the one on the display model." "Okay, wait a moment." Soon, the clerk who found the skirt pointed to the fitting room and asked Song Siyi to change. But after waiting for a while, she didn't move. Jiyu Qingchen came to the door of the fitting room with doubt, knocked on the door and asked, "Siyi, are you still not ready?" "Okay, but this is too much." Song Siyi's voice was trembling. Then, the door of the fitting room was unlocked, and a little head with a blushing face poked out, saying shamelessly, "Come in and take a look, I don't dare to go out." Okay. Just as Jiyu Qingchen was about to go in, the clerk next to him suddenly said, "Sir, this is a shopping mall, please be careful." Jiyu Qingchen. "I have such a handsome face, do I look like a pervert?" His face was full of black lines and he said, "Thank you for reminding me, I know my limits." "Good." The clerk smiled awkwardly. After entering the fitting room, Jiyu Qingchen saw the school beauty Song with her arms around her chest and abdomen. "How can I see if you're blocking my view?" Jiyu Qingchen reminded. Upon hearing this, Song Siyi gritted her teeth, let go of her arms and covered her face with her hands instead. The curvy figure was immediately revealed. Wow tilde. The willow waist, the decent-sized chest, and the slender legs that are faintly visible at the slit. Although it doesn't quite match the charm of the stepmother's skirt and it doesn't look good in terms of temperament, she's still beautiful and has a good figure. At this time, Jiyu Qingchen, who always felt that something was missing, walked up to Song Siyi and took off the rubber band that tied her ponytail. Her inky long hair fell down like a peacock spreading its tail. Then, Jiyu Qingchen gathered her long hair and simply tied it into a dangerous madam-style hairstyle. The girl did not resist at all and let the boy do whatever he wanted to her. "That's just right. Awesome, right?" Jiyu Qingchen admired it for a while, and only left the fitting room reluctantly until the clerk knocked on the door to remind him. "I want this skirt. Please get the invoice and scan the code." Jiyu Qingchen said to the clerk. "Okay, follow me tilde." When Song Siyi came out, she had regained her lovely appearance wearing a white dress and a ponytail. After Jiyu Qingchen left her address and asked the clerk to deliver the goods to her door, he took her to the third floor. This is a bedding and lingerie store. He first took Song Siyi to buy underwear. It was a bit awkward because the salesperson kept praising Song Siyi's girlfriend for being so beautiful and trying to sell him sexy underwear. Is there no sense of boundaries in sales nowadays? In the end, Jiyu Qingchen did not fulfill the shopping guide's wish. She just bought 8 sets of normal cotton underwear and 8 sets of fairly normal printed underwear, and then left. But he did add the shopping guide's WeChat, just in case. Next, he bought 5 sets of pink 3-piece bedding sets, a white and a pink summer quilt, 2 goose down quilts for winter, 2 latex pillows and 2 goose down pillows. "Okay, let's go to the 4th floor to buy some electronic products." As he said that, he took Song Siyi to the Huawei sales office on the 4th floor. I listened to the shopping guide introduce the mobile phones and tablets launched this year. Jiyu Qingchen decisively bought the MatePad 11.5 tablet and a white 16 Plus 512G Huawei Mate 64 Plus that had just been launched on sale. The tablet allows sales to deliver the goods to your door, while the mobile phone can be taken away on the spot. Looking at Song Siyi, who was holding the phone preciously in her arms and walking beside her without saying a word, Jiyu Qingchen suddenly teased, "Why don't you say it's too expensive? And then you keep making excuses." Song Siyi blinked and said in confusion, "Didn't you say that you are not allowed to refuse the things you bought for me, or I will spank you when I get home?" Jiyu Qingchen smiled helplessly and rubbed her head with his hand. Okay, I'll take you to buy a notebook. You should use it when you go to college. I'll teach you in detail about the mobile phone when we get home." "Okay tilde." Song Siyi responded in a soft voice. A few steps away, we arrived at a shop called Eye of the Prodigal Son. This time, Jiyu Qingchen didn't need the clerk to introduce the configuration, and directly chose a laptop with i9-13900H plus 4090 graphics card plus 64G memory plus 2 4TB solid-state drive, dual screen and 240Hz refresh rate. The only thing is that the appearance doesn't suit girls' taste, but there's nothing I can do about it. Performance comes first. If the appearance is really not good, I can buy laptop stickers online and decorate it myself. Come to the basement level. This is a supermarket and a place selling daily necessities. Jiyu Qingchen brought Song Siyi, who was holding octopus balls, to the daily necessities area. I bought a pack of white towels, 6 pieces, 3 pink bath towels, a bunny-shaped toothbrush cup, a pink electric toothbrush, 2 ordinary toothbrushes, 2 tubes of toothpaste, and a pink thermos cup. Then I went to the sanitary products area again. Since Jiyu Qingchen didn't know much about women's toiletries, he bought everything according to the shopping guide's recommendations. 2 bottles each of facial cleanser, shower gel, and shampoo. There are also sanitary napkins for daily and night use, with different absorbency, for large boxes each. Sir. Wait a moment, I'm one of the managers in charge of this mall, my name is Wang Zuan. Just after Jiyu Qingchen paid for the items and was about to leave the mall with Song Siyi, a man hurried over and stopped him. I know. I'll leave my things to you. Jiyu Qingchen nodded in response. Manager Wang was stunned for a moment, then smiled kindly and said, since you bought a lot of things but didn't take them away, I know you visit our mall quite often. It was Manager Zhao who came to see me before, why is it you this time? Jiyu Qingchen asked puzzledly. He's off these 2 days, so I'll do it for him. Okay, thank you for your help. I left my address before. I'll leave first if I have nothing else to do. Okay, take care. After watching Jiyu Qingchen leave, Manager Wang turned around and went back to the mall. The service at Fengyuan Shopping Mall is really good. As long as your spending is over 5,000 yuan, someone will come to remind you, and they provide free door-to-door delivery service. As for people like Jiyu Qingchen who buy things and don't take them away, you can tell at a glance that he is a regular customer. You just need to go up to him and say hello and let him know before he leaves. Chapter 24, How joyful it is to buy, how embarrassing it is to sort out. Before going home, Jiyu Qingchen took Song Siyi to the China Unicom Business Hall to get a phone card for her. But he forgot that Song Siyi's ID card had not arrived yet. Helplessly, Jiyu Qingchen could only allocate a secondary card from his own card for her to use. In fact, they are almost the same and there is no big problem. After taking a taxi back home, Jiyu Qingchen ordered 2 servings of dry pot rice from Meituan and waited for the mall to deliver the goods to his door. After nothing happened, Jiyu Qingchen began to teach Song Siyi how to use a mobile phone. Here, give me your phone and I'll teach you. Song Siyi handed him the phone obediently. Jiyu Qingchen opened the settings, turned off the automatic brightness adjustment, opened the password setting interface, handed the phone back and said, set a password for yourself. Song Siyi didn't take the phone, but said, please help me enter it. Just your password will do. Jiyu Qingchen smiled slightly, raised his hand and entered the password, 060305, and reminded, by the way, the password for the door is also this, don't go out by yourself and can't come back home. Okay Song Siyi nodded in response. And fingerprints, you have to do that yourself. Jiyu Qingchen said again. Song Siyi followed the voice prompts, recorded her fingerprints, and handed the phone back, can I record yours again? Jiyu Qingchen understood the girl's thoughts to some extent, so he didn't ask any more questions and recorded his fingerprints. Afterwards, he downloaded WeChat and taught Song Siyi how to register an account step by step, added his own WeChat ID, and saved his own phone contacts. I also downloaded software related to TV series, movies, short videos, online food delivery, etc., and patiently taught her how to register and use them. Time passed unknowingly. Song Siyi was curled up on the sofa playing with her mobile phone. Jiyu Qingchen did not disturb her and read a novel by herself. At this moment, Jiyu Qingchen's phone suddenly rang, and when he answered it, it was the delivery guy. Just as I reached the entrance, another phone call came in, and the person who answered it was a delivery staff from the mall. Fortunately, the Community S elevator does not have a keycard, so all I had to do was open the door and wait. The first one to come up was the delivery guy, and after he took the order, the delivery staff followed closely behind. Jiyu Qingchen first placed the takeaway on the dining table before helping the delivery man carry things. Song Siyi also stepped forward silently to help. Although there were a lot of things, they were not heavy and they were all moved in a short while. Thank you for your hard work, master. Jiyu Qingchen said politely. It's okay, it's what we should do. We'll leave first, as we still have another family to send off. The master also greeted him with a word and left. Jiyu Qingchen, looking at the things on the ground, suddenly felt overwhelmed. There are so many shopping bags, shoe boxes, and cardboard boxes. It's so fun to buy, but so embarrassing to pack up. Jiyu Qingchen temporarily placed the tablet and notebook on the coffee table. More than a dozen boxes of sanitary napkins were stored in the storage room. Although the apartment has 2 bedrooms and a living room, Jiyu Qingchen's room comes with a storage room. It's just not big, just enough for storing toilet paper, tissues, wet wipes and the like. It's just that I bought too many sanitary napkins, so the storage room is a bit crowded now. The remaining clothes and shoes were sorted by Song Siyi herself and stored in the closet in the second bedroom, and the bedding was placed in the storage compartment under the bed. Then throw all the new underwear into the washing machine to wash. After putting all the toiletries in the bathroom, the two sat down at the dining table and ate their already bland meal. Song Siyi has already changed into her own white cotton printed pajamas, but her underwear is still being washed, so it is currently in a vacuum state. All the old underwear and shoes were thrown away, leaving only a set of school uniform as a memory of the 3 years with classmate Jiyu Qingchen. Chapter 25, Their Famine Kitchen. Night. Both of them were quietly playing with their phones on the sofa. The only difference was that Jiyu Qingchen was lying down and Song Siyi was sitting. The girl, whose eyelids were drooping, could no longer bear it and slowly stood up and said, "I'm a little sleepy. I'm going to rest first. What do you want to eat tomorrow morning? I'll make it for you." Jiyu Qingchen waved his hand and said, "No, I'm going for a morning run and will bring you some tofu pudding. You can sleep a little longer." "Okay, good night then, Tilda." "Good night." Then, Jiyu Qingchen said, "By the way, I transferred 10,000 yuan to you via WeChat. It should be considered as 3 months' salary in advance. Remember to collect it." Song Siyi opened her red lips and was about to refuse when she was interrupted by Jiyu Qingchen again. "Don't refuse, or I'll spank you and take off your pants." "Okay, thank you." Hearing this, Song Siyi subconsciously covered her little butt, agreed obediently, and returned to her room. Jiyu Qingchen didn't think this was a dog-licking behavior, he was just pampering his future wife. It would be fine if they could part ways amicably in the future, but if it was Song Siyi's problem, he would make her live a life worse than death and regret it. However, Jiyu Qingchen didn't think that day would come. After all, the girl had been tortured by her family for so many years, and if her character was going to change for the worse, she would have changed long ago. Early morning. Jiyu Qingchen, who had just woken up, stretched in bed, then got up and went to the window, and found that it was drizzling outside. It felt like yesterday wasn't cloudy, it was overcast. Since he couldn't go for a morning jog now, Jiyu Qingchen came to the living room in his pajamas, ready to call an errand boy to see if he could go to the breakfast shop and buy 2 servings of tofu pudding and have them delivered. There's nothing we can do. The boss is an old man who doesn't know how to do takeout. At this time, the door of the second bedroom slowly opened. An innocent girl, still a little dazed, with long hair down to her waist, came out wearing white pajamas and white slippers. Unfortunately, the pajamas were too conservative, so I can't appreciate anything except her gorgeous face and cute toes. Song Siyi, who was about to go to the bathroom, caught a glimpse of Jiyu Qingchen sitting on the sofa. She turned her head and was slightly stunned for a moment, wondering, "Huh? Didn't you go for a morning run? It's raining outside. I can't run." Then wait a moment. I'm going to the bathroom and then I'll make breakfast for you." After saying that, without giving Jiyu Qingchen a chance to answer, Song Siyi went into the bathroom. Jiyu Qingchen looked at the errands on his phone and silently clicked cancel. Isn't the breakfast made by my future wife tastier than that made by others? After a while, Song Siyi came out of the bathroom and went to the kitchen. She used a small rubber band to tie her hair neatly into a ponytail, then searched left and right. As a result, there was really no food in the house except egg noodles, a bag and a half of rice, and less than half a bag of flour. Nowadays, everyone has steamed buns or something frozen in their refrigerator, but Jiyu Qingchen doesn't even have steamed buns. The freezer is so clean that it has never been used. Song Siyi felt tired. Does he live only on takeout? If it has been like this for the past few years, then now that you are standing here as strong as an ox, you are really in good health. Why didn't Jiyu Qingchen's parents care about him? Were they too busy making money to take care of him? Or do all rich people just let their children do what they want? Unfortunately, with these ingredients, I can only make egg pancakes and rice porridge. Cooking noodles would be fine, but after all, it was the first breakfast she made for the person she loved, and she didn't want to be too simple or perfunctory. Chapter 26. The first breakfast made by the girl. In the kitchen. Siyi wanted to sift out the flour, but she found that there was no sieve at home. There was no other way, so she had to carefully pick out all the rice bugs in the noodles, bit by bit. Then, mix the sifted flour with eggs, salt and appropriate amount of water into a batter. While Siyi was making the pancakes, Jiyu Qingchen slowly came forward and looked curiously at the egg pancakes that were about to be made in the pan. As a young master from a wealthy family, he had indeed never seen the world, and this egg pancake was the first time he had heard of it. I thought it was an egg beaten on the pancake, but after seeing it, I realized that it is the same as pancakes, both are made of batter. After serving the pancake, Siyi picked up the chopsticks and tore off a corner, then used her other hand to catch it and brought it to Jiyu Qingchen's mouth. Try it and see if it suits your taste. Jiyu Qingchen was naturally not polite and directly put the cake and chopsticks into his mouth, commenting, "It's a very soft cake, and it's quite delicious." Siyi smiled gently, "That's good, but there are no green onions, otherwise it would be more fragrant. It's okay, that's good. Please cook, I'll go wash up. Okay. After saying that, Jiyu Qingchen left the kitchen and went to the bathroom. Siyi continued to scoop a spoonful of batter into the pot. While waiting, she looked at the chopsticks that had been used by the person she loved. Somehow, she slowly raised her hand and put the food into her mouth. Then, he just stared blankly, not knowing what he was thinking. It wasn't until the omelette started to burn that Siyi came to her senses. She quickly turned the pancake over, climbed up Hongyun's face and looked back quietly. Seeing that there was no one behind her, she covered her face with her hands in shame and breathed a sigh of relief. Wait for Jiyu to finish washing up in the early morning. Siyi had already placed breakfast on the dining table and sat obediently on a chair waiting. Why are you waiting for me? Eat quickly. Jiyu Qingchen sat down, picked up the chopsticks and said, Okay. With a slightly blushing face, Siyi picked up the chopsticks that Jiyu Qingchen had just used to eat and began to eat slowly. But while eating, she asked again, I want to buy vegetables this afternoon. Is there a place selling vegetables nearby? Yes, turn right after leaving the community, and then turn right again at the first crossroads. There is a small shopping mall and a supermarket on the underground first floor. They sell vegetables, eggs and meat. There is also a vegetable market in. Jiyu Qingchen was about to continue speaking, but felt that it was unnecessary to dictate so much, so he changed the subject and said, Forget it, there's nothing else to do anyway, I'll take you there this afternoon. Okay. After dinner. After Siyi cleaned up the dishes, she went to the bathroom to wash up. Jiyu Qingchen was lying on the sofa, patting his slightly bloated belly, and playing with his mobile phone leisurely. At this time, Lu Xingzhe suddenly sent a message, Old Jiyu want to go out for a drink at noon. Jiyu Qingchen, what the hell, that's disgusting. Jiyu Qingchen, why are you drinking for no reason? According to your character, shouldn't you ask me to play games? Lu Xingzhe, because I found a new barbecue restaurant, it's 50% off today, do you want to come? Jiyu Qingchen, come on, send me the address. Lu Xingzhe, my second uncle's barbecue restaurant location. Jiyu Qingchen, this store name is amazing. Lu Xingzhe, hey, huh? I took a look at this store out of curiosity because of its name. Otherwise, I would have missed out on the 50% discount. Lu Xingzhe, let us meet at the store around 11 o'clock. I have to go to my dad's place first. Jiyu Qingchen, okay. Chapter 27, Drinking Date. Putting down his phone, Jiyu Qingchen stood up and walked towards the bathroom. Looking at her beautiful back as she was brushing her teeth, he said directly, Siyi, I'm going out to have lunch with my friends at noon, will you come with me? Siyi's mouth was full of foam, and she asked vaguely, male or female? But as soon as she asked the question, she realized that she had spoken too quickly. Who is she to ask such a question? Jiyu Qingchen didn't care about that and replied, he's a boy, my junior high school friend. Seeing that he didn't react, Siyi quickly rinsed the toothpaste foam from her mouth and changed the subject, I don't know your friend, so why don't I go? Otherwise, you won't be able to eat freely, and I won't be comfortable staying here. Okay, then I'll order takeout for you at noon. Ji Qingchen felt that what she said made some sense, so he didn't force her, and then continued, let's see how things go this afternoon. If it doesn't work out, I'll take you there tomorrow, or you can go out and look for it yourself if you want. Okay tilde. Noon. Ji Qingchen waited until Song Siyi's takeaway was delivered before leaving home. He hailed a passing taxi and headed straight for his destination. Came to my second uncle's barbecue restaurant. Lu Xingzhe had already ordered various skewers and casseroles, as well as a large box of beer and a bottle of white wine, all with the caps opened. Ji Qingchen, who had not planned to drink much today, couldn't help but feel a throbbing sensation in his temples when he saw this. This bastard Lu Xingzhe is very good at acting first and reporting later, cutting off his own retreat. Now he can't retreat even if he wants to. After Ji Qingchen sat down, he gave him the middle finger. Okay, Lao Ji, drink. Don't go home until you're drunk. Drink for nothing. If you're drunk, it will make my future wife have to take care of me. Didn't you just leave me and run away that time? Ji Qingchen rubbed his head in frustration. Lu Xingzhe took a sip of wine and persuaded her, it's okay, I promise to send you home. As a woman, what's wrong with serving your husband occasionally? Suddenly, he noticed something was wrong, and he stood up abruptly and stared at Ji Qingchen in surprise. What future wife? What future wife did you say? Ji Qingchen had no intention of hiding it from his brothers, so he immediately gave them a brief account of what had happened over the past few days. But he didn't say anything about Song Siyi's experience. He just simply told her how he met her, took her in, and took her to buy some clothes and so on. Lu Xingzhe got even more excited after hearing this. Fuck. In other words, you're living with your school beauty. Ji Qingchen picked up the wine and drank it in confusion, then said, well, it's quite complicated. Anyway, they are indeed living together. Lu Xingzhe slammed the table excitedly. Old Ji. You said you would be single for life. You actually betrayed me. This movement immediately attracted the attention of all the diners around. Ji Qingchen hurriedly pushed Lu Xingzhe to sit down. Can you f***ing lower your voice? What's wrong? Are you proud of being single? Lu Xingzhe slumped in his seat with a look of death, and sighed to the sky. My good brother has lost his virginity, so where is my love? Ji Qingchen explained, I still am. Lu Xingzhe's eyes immediately turned sideways. No way? You don't want to eat the meat that's delivered to your door? You've been with the school beauty and classmate for 3 years tilde with such a strong emotional foundation, nothing happened. You can't be incapable, right? You farted. Ji Qingchen tapped the table with his fingers and explained, we have been classmates and friends for 3 years. I have only taken her in for a few days. How can I do that? Wouldn't that be beastly? You single dog, stop talking nonsense and drink. You talk like you're not. Drink. Just like that, Ji Qingchen and Lu Xingzhe drank one cup after another until they were drunk. In the end, the two of them walked out of the barbecue restaurant arm in arm, walking as if on cotton. Chapter 28 Angry Girl, First Kiss After Drinking. Ji Qingchen can't drink as much as Lu Xingzhe. In addition, he was drunk and had no restraint at all. At this time, he was so drunk that he could not distinguish reality. Lu Xingzhe was not much better, just barely sober. He called a Didi and planned to send Ji Qingchen home first. Arrived at Moxiang Academy. Lu Xingzhe knew that there was someone at home, so he raised his hand and knocked on the door. Soon, Song Siyi looked outside through the peephole and found that it was Ji Qingchen, so she quickly opened the door. When Lu Xingzhe saw the girl opening the door, he was stunned for a moment and sobered up a little. There was no other reason. Song Siyi was simply incredibly beautiful, with an exquisite and beautiful oval face without any makeup, bright eyes, white teeth, a high nose, and that pure temperament, just like the white moonlight of first love. Even wearing conservative pajamas, it couldn't hide her graceful figure. Hello, sister-in-law, Lu Xingzhe greeted politely. Song Siyi blushed slightly, but she did not deny it and nodded silently. Afterwards, when Lu Xingzhe and Ji Qingchen, one on each side, helped Ji Qingchen to the sofa, he suddenly stood up, squatted in front of the trash can and vomited a few times. Song Siyi also squatted beside him, her eyes were covered with a layer of mist, and tears could be faintly seen in the corners of her eyes. She kept patting Ji Qingchen's back, hoping that this would make him feel more comfortable. Didn't we say we were going to have a meal? How come you drank like this? The girl's tone was full of heartache and blame. Jiyu Qingchen felt better after vomiting and was much more awake. He stood up and sat back on the sofa, selling Lu Xingzhe without hesitation. Lu Xingzhe ordered beer and liquor, and the bottle caps were all opened. I can't return it, so I can only drink it. Song Siyi immediately turned her head to look at Lu Xingzhe, who was leaning against the wall and drowsy. A layer of anger climbed up her pretty face, and she said coldly, Lu Xingzhe, right. When Lu Xingzhe heard the tone, he immediately shuddered and came to his senses. What's wrong with sister-in-law? If you continue to drag my family to drink in the morning like this, I will beat you so hard that your parents won't recognize you. After saying that, Song Siyi glanced at him coldly and walked to the bathroom. Lu Xingzhe swallowed, looked at his good brother with pity, and ran away. I hope he won't be controlled by his wife in the future. Song Siyi came out of the bathroom holding her toothbrush cup and a wet towel. Looking at the disappeared Lu Xingzhe and the closed door, she snorted coldly, sat down next to Jiyu Qingchen and began to wipe his face carefully. Then, he pulled over the trash can and handed the cup to his mouth. Be good, rinse your mouth. Jiyu Qingchen obediently took a sip, gulped it down in his mouth a few times, then leaned over and spit it into the trash can. Have another bite, Tilder, Song Siyi coaxed. Jiyu Qingchen obediently repeated the operation just now. Song Siyi took a towel and wiped his mouth, then laid him down on the sofa and took off his shoes. Then, he picked up the towel, picked up the toothbrush cup and went back to the bathroom. After tidying up, she went to the kitchen to pour a glass of water and placed it on the coffee table to prevent Jiyu Qingchen from looking for water to drink later. Looking at his peaceful sleeping face, Song Siyi somehow squatted down and watched him carefully. Suddenly, Jiyu Qingchen, as if he had noticed something, opened his eyes dazedly and looked at the pretty girl in front of him. Before she could react, he hugged the back of her head, raised his head slightly and kissed her soft lips. Song Siyi opened her beautiful eyes wide, was stunned for a moment, then gently closed her eyes and opened her pearly teeth to respond to the warmth that was wantonly plundering her mouth. After a while, Jiyu Qingchen lay back on the sofa in a daze. Song Siyi pursed her moist lips, her eyes full of joy. Is this what kissing feels like? It's just a little bit passionate. But it's nice to give him my first kiss, Tilder. Chapter 29. The girl's meticulous and patient care. After savoring the beauty just now, Song Siyi got up and went to the master bedroom to take out a pillow and quilt. She gently lifted Jiyu Qingchen's head, put a pillow underneath it, and covered him with the quilt. Until the evening, except for cooking a bowl of noodles, Song Siyi sat quietly by the side watching over Jiyu Qingchen. She didn't play with her cell phone, but from time to time, with tender eyes, she reached out and stroked the cheek of the person she liked. I don't know how much time passed, but the sky was already bright. The sunlight hit Jiyu Qingchen's face. As his eyes trembled, he slowly woke up, covering his aching head. He got up from the sofa in a daze and prepared to get out of bed to find some water. But the fragmentary memories of last night gradually flooded into his mind. Jiyu Qingchen's feet, which had already touched the ground, suddenly froze, and even his hazy sleepiness was instantly dispelled. He, last night, forcefully kissed Song Siyi. At this moment, a soft moan was heard. Turning around, I saw the girl lying on the chaise longue, rubbing her eyes and waking up. Seeing that Jiyu Qingchen had woken up, she stood up and handed him the cup of water on the coffee table, her tone still a little lazy. You drank last night, drink some water first, I will cook noodles for you, just have a bite, after all, you didn't eat last night. Having said that, Song Siyi didn't bother to wash up and went to the kitchen in her slippers. Jiyu Qingchen felt the deep concern and drank the water silently. The guilt and remorse he had for forcefully kissing the girl gradually faded away. Since they like each other, it shouldn't be a problem to kiss each other, right? Drink up the water. Jiyu Qingchen took the cup to the kitchen and filled it again. Just when he was about to apologize for what happened last night, Song Siyi spoke first. Go sit down, the noodles will be ready soon, Tilder. Good. Jiyu Qingchen swallowed the apology. He finished drinking the water, put the cup away, and sat down at the dining table. Let's keep the status quo and don't mention the forced kiss anymore, to avoid embarrassment for both of us. As Song Siyi brought the noodles with a fried egg, Jiyu Qingchen, who was already very hungry, immediately started to wolf it down. Eat slowly, no one is going to snatch it from you, Tilder. Song Siyi supported her face with both hands and watched him eat with a smile on her face. Because too much noodles were cooked, there was still some noodles left after Jiyu Qingchen finished his meal, but he really couldn't eat any more. Okay, I'm going to take a shower. I smell bad. Please clean it up. After wiping his mouth, Jiyu Qingchen got up and went to the bathroom. After watching him leave, Song Siyi did not clean up the dishes, but sat in the seat where Jiyu Qingchen had just sat, picked up the noodles with the chopsticks he had used, put them into her mouth and started eating. After drinking the last mouthful of soup and sending Jiyu Qingchen's leftovers, Song Siyi picked up the bowl and chopsticks and went to the kitchen. Jiyu Qingchen was wearing a simple blue shirt with a white lining and black shorts, sitting on the sofa and browsing his phone. Song Siyi pushed open the door of the second bedroom and walked out slowly. She was wearing a white dress with a blue cardigan on the outside. She looked very sweet with her long hair loose. Take her to get her hair cut some other day, she'll look better with a different bangs. Are you done packing? Jiyu Qingchen asked after putting down his phone. Okay tilde. Song Siyi nodded with a smile. After saying that, Jiyu Qingchen got up and took her out. The two first went to the underground supermarket in a nearby shopping mall to take a look. There are all kinds of vegetables, meat and eggs, but the prices are much higher than those in the vegetable market. But fortunately, if there is any problem, you can bring the receipt to hold someone accountable, and drinks, snacks, condiments and side dishes are also easy to get. After strolling around and buying nothing, they left the supermarket and went to the vegetable market. Chapter 30 The Girl Who Bargained with Her Beauty and Temperament. Auntie, how much is this string bean per pound? Song Siyi rummaged through the pile of beans and asked the grey-haired old lady sitting on the bench in front of her. 3.5 yuan per pound. How about 3 yuan? The mother-in-law looked at the pretty Song Siyi and didn't bargain. Instead, she smiled kindly and said, 3 yuan is 3 yuan. You are still a little girl, otherwise I wouldn't give it to you at such a low price. Thank you Grandma Tilda. Song Siyi smiled sweetly and said, then please pack 4 kilograms for me. Okay Tilda. The old woman swiftly took out a plastic bag, put the beans in it, weighed it, and handed it to Song Siyi. Later, I visited several street stalls and bought some tomatoes, eggplants, potatoes and other ingredients. Without exception, these bosses were all won over by Song Siyi's sweet voice and adorable looks, and willingly accepted the bargaining. Jiyu Qingchen on the side was stunned. This might be the reincarnation of a fox demon. These shop owners, regardless of age or gender, could hardly bargain after a few rounds. They just accepted Song Siyi's price as if they were possessed by a ghost. It's so scary. Let's go Tilda, let's buy some meat and eggs, then we can go home. After a while, Song Siyi came back with 2 bags of eggs. Jiyu Qingchen took the eggs from her and followed her like a little brother carrying a bag. When they arrived at the butcher's shop, Song Siyi used tongs to pick out a few strips of pork tenderloin. They all looked fresh, so she ordered them all. Finally, passing by a seafood store, Jiyu Qingchen picked up about 20 crabs and gave the lighter vegetables and meat to Song Siyi, while he carried the eggs and crabs out of the vegetable market. Back home. After Jiyu Qingchen prepared the dipping sauce, he bent over the sink and carefully washed the crabs. Song Siyi steamed the rice, processed the beans, and turned on the stove to make stir-fried beans. The two of them were busy like this for about an hour. Jiyu Qingchen brought the steamed crabs and dipping sauce to the dining table, but found that Song Siyi had disappeared. After searching for a while, he saw that the bathroom light was on. Jiyu Qingchen thought the girl was in the bathroom, so he didn't start eating right away. Instead, he sat on the sofa and waited while browsing his phone. But after a long time, Song Siyi didn't come out. So, Jiyu Qingchen came to the bathroom door, knocked on the door and asked, Siyi, are you okay? Song Siyi, who was embarrassed and had been struggling with how to ask him for help, followed suit and said, It's okay Tilda, I just have my period and my stomach hurts a little. Can you help me get a pack of sanitary napkins? Okay. Jiyu Qingchen came to the storage room, randomly opened a box of sanitary napkins, took out a pack, and returned to the bathroom door. How can I give it to you? The door is not locked. Just cover your eyes and come in. You can only look at your feet at most. Song Siyi hesitated for a moment and replied. When Jiyu Qingchen pushed open the door, half-covered his eyes, and walked in, Song Siyi's face turned red with shame. She took the sanitary napkin handed to her and hurriedly urged, It's okay, get out now Tilda. Ji Qingchen didn't dare to stay and turned around and left the bathroom. He ran to the kitchen, took out a bottle of Coke and a piece of ginger, and started busying himself with something. After Song Siyi came out and sat at the dining table, Ji Qingchen handed her a cup of ginger cola directly. Just drink a little first. There is no brown sugar or hot water bottle at home. I will buy you some after dinner. Ginger cola can also ward off cold, but you have to drink it in moderation. I'll just have this one cup today. Thank you, Tilda. Song Siyi took the Coke with both hands and drank it in small sips. Tilda. There is a slight hint of ginger, but it is mostly the sweetness of cola, and the gas is gone, so it is quite delicious. Ji Qingchen said as he peeled the crabs, you are not lucky enough to have crabs. You can't eat cold food during your period. It's okay, Tilda, I'll just eat the beans. Seeing Song Siyi's round look, he thought so. Ji Qingchen still dipped the 2 peeled crab legs in the sauce and put them into her bowl. Just these 2, just try them. If you want to eat them, wait until your period is over and I'll make them for you. Oh, Tilda, Song Siyi responded, a little confused. She didn't understand why she was suddenly allowed to eat again when she was not allowed to eat just now. Because it was early in the morning, neither of them was very hungry, so they just ate a simple meal. Just heat up the rest and eat it in the evening. Noon. Ji Qingchen was lying on the sofa and playing with his mobile phone. Song Siyi was also playing nearby. At this time, Lu Xingzhi sent a message, Old Ji, are you okay? Ji Qingchen, ? Lu Xingzhi, my sister-in-law was so fierce yesterday. She threatened to beat me so hard that my parents couldn't recognize me. I was so scared. I just woke up and she came to ask if you were still alive and if you were a good enough brother. Seeing this, Ji Qingchen finally remembered something, including the memory of Song Siyi getting angry at Lu Xingzhi last night. He turned around to look at the quiet and well-behaved girl beside him, and remembered her careful and gentle care last night. He could not reconcile her with the cold figure in his memory. Ji Qingchen, I can only say that you deserve it. Who told you to act first and report later? If the wine could be refunded, would this have happened? Lu Xingzhi. Lu Xingzhi, so, love will disappear, right? Lu Xingzhi, be careful or you'll end up being controlled by your wife. Ji Qingchen, Doobie doesn't he want to chat with you anymore, he's going out. Putting down his phone, he glanced at the girl beside him who was playing with her phone quietly with a gentle smile on her face. He is a henpecked husband. That shouldn't be the case, right? Siyi, I'm going to go out and buy you some brown sugar and a hot water bottle. You can rest at home. Ji Qingchen changed his shoes beside the sofa, stood up and said. Song Siyi rubbed her belly and said, actually, it doesn't hurt that much, so you don't need to buy it. I'll just drink some hot water to warm my belly. It's okay, buy it for emergency use. Why make do with it when you can be comfortable? Just wait. Okay, then you should be careful. Hearing this, Ji Qingchen waved his hand and left home. About an hour or so. He went home carrying bags of brown sugar and salt, as well as a large plastic bag of snacks. Salt bag, it has the same effect as a hot water bag, but it heats solid matter. Ji Qingchen put the brown sugar in the kitchen and cooked it in the evening. After all, Song Siyi had just drunk ginger cola. As for snacks, he left some for her and restocked the empty snack shelf in his room with the rest. Chapter 31, The Legendary Sister Mieshu. After dinner in the evening, Song Siyi lay on the soft big bed, with the hot salt bag covering her belly, feeling very comfortable. At this moment, the bedroom door was pushed open. Ji Qingchen walked in with a cup of ginger and brown sugar water. Seeing this, Song Siyi quickly sat up, leaned against the head of the bed, and reached out to take the cup of water he handed over. Are you feeling better? Tilda. Song Siyi sipped the slightly hot brown sugar water and nodded slightly. Okay, I won't bother you then. Ji Qingchen said as he walked out, just put it by the bed after you finish drinking it, and I'll clean it up tomorrow. Go to bed early, and don't stay up late if you have your period. Call me if you have anything. After giving the instructions, he closed the door of the second bedroom and went back to his own bedroom. Song Siyi drank the brown sugar water in small sips, her eyes sparkling with tears. The warm, sweet water in her mouth seemed to flow into her heart, filling her whole body with a sense of happiness. Some girls who were in love were so excited that they went to bed very late that night. Early morning. The sun had only half risen. Jiyu Qingchen had just returned home from a morning run, had just finished taking a shower and changed into pajamas, and before he could even sit down on the sofa, he heard a knock on the door. Helplessly, he could only stand up and walk towards the door. Open the door. What came into view was a woman wearing a white long dress, high-heeled sandals, with straight hair and a plump figure. She had a white bag slung over her right arm and a large bag of breakfast in her left hand. She had a gentle smile on her face, just like the sister next door. His temperament is full of the fragrance of books, and he also has the majesty of having been in a high position for a long time. Jiyu Qingchen recognized her at a glance and asked in surprise, "Sister Mieshu, why are you here?" That's right, this woman was their Sister Mieshu he called on the phone, and also his mother's best friend. Since leaving home in the second year of junior high school, they haven't seen each other except for phone calls and messages. Shin Mieshu pretended to be unhappy. Why? You brat don't welcome me. No way. I haven't seen you for 5 years, and you just fly right in front of me without even saying hello. Anyone would be shocked, right? All right, come in now. Jiyu Qingchen moved aside and welcomed her into their house. Putting the breakfast on the dining table, Shin Mieshu looked around and walked to the sofa to sit down. This little home is pretty good. Jiyu Qingchen was not puzzled as to why Shin Mieshu came to Linjiang for the first time without asking any questions. After all, with her ability, it was extremely easy for her to find the detailed address. It can't be compared with your palace, your majesty, so just make do with it. Jiyu Qingchen joked. You're looking for a fight. Go make me some tea. Shin Mieshu ordered unceremoniously. Jiyu Qingchen just got up and went to the kitchen to get a glass of purified water and placed it in front of her. There are no guests at my house, so I haven't prepared any tea. Drink some water, it's good for your health. Shin Mieshu rolled her eyes at him, picked up the water and drank it like she was tasting tea. Then, she put down the cup and said, "By the way, where is the little girl you took in? Still sleeping? Maybe she didn't sleep well because of her period. Otherwise, she would have woken up at this time." Shin Mieshu nodded. "I will take you to have a big meal this afternoon. I just drove past a store. It's quite big and is located on the pedestrian street next to the mall. I think the food won't be too bad." "Where did you get the car?" Jiyu Qingchen asked puzzledly. "Your mayor's secretary temporarily lent me my car." Jiyu Qingchen. It's true that a higher-ranking official can crush one who is mortal. It's so early in the morning, and the secretary is forced to get up and send her the car. Chapter 32. Shin Mieshu poked half of the window paper. The two chatted for a while, and Song Siyi got up and walked out of the second bedroom. Seeing the stranger, she was startled for a moment, then immediately greeted nervously, "Hello." Shin Mieshu carefully examined the girl's face and figure, and responded with satisfaction, "Hello, you must be Song Siyi, right? My name is Shin Mieshu. Chen Chen should have mentioned me to you. If you don't mind, you can call me Sister Mieshu." "Sister Mieshu Tilder," Song Siyi called out obediently. "Well, you're so good Tilder." Shin Mieshu stood up, took her hand, and led her to the dining table. "Let's have breakfast, it's a good opportunity for us to chat." Jiyu Qingchen followed closely behind. On the dining table, Shin Mieshu laid out the steamed buns, millet porridge, and pickled vegetables. The steamed buns are stuffed with wild vegetables and eggs. They are also available in Magic City. They taste pretty good. I just don't know what it's like in Linjiang. If it's not tasty, I'll order something else from takeout. It's okay, just eat it. Jiyu Qingchen said. Shin Mieshu rolled her eyes at him. "Who asked you?" "I was talking to Siyi." Jiyu Qingchen. "I have a new lover and forget the old one. There is no love anymore." Song Siyi waved her hand and refused. "No need, Sister Mieshu, just eat something casual for breakfast." Shin Mieshu just thought the girl was being reserved and embarrassed to bring it up, so she emphasized, "It's okay, don't force yourself to eat it if it doesn't taste good, I'll give you something else, we're all family, there's nothing to be embarrassed about." Before Song Siyi could speak, Jiyu Qingchen interrupted and said, "My sister, how can we argue about this family member?" Shin Mieshu looked at him suspiciously. "Siyi is not your girlfriend." Song Siyi, who was hearing this, immediately blushed and started eating the buns. Ahem. Jiyu Qingchen also coughed twice awkwardly. "We are just friends at the moment." "Are? My friend, you're buying clothes and shoes, and you're asking me for help. You're kidding me. Oh, I get it. Shinmieshu finally came to his senses, for now, right? In other words, in the future, the word female will be added in front. Eat your meal. Jiyu Qingchen immediately picked up a bun and stuffed it into her mouth. Shinmieshu stopped teasing and snorted before picking up the bun in her mouth and started eating. After breakfast, Shinmieshu pulled Song Siyi into the second bedroom to chat. Jiyu Qingchen was pitifully locked outside the door alone. I wanted to stick it on the door and eavesdrop, but the soundproofing was so good during the renovation that I couldn't hear a thing. Helplessly, he had to go back to his room to play games. Until almost noon. Shinmieshu and Song Siyi, who had changed her clothes, walked out of the room hand in hand like good sisters. Obviously, the conversation that morning brought them closer. Especially Song Siyi's fresh outfit of a white off-shoulder t-shirt with a pink miniskirt and long white socks on her legs, which was obviously matched by Shinmieshu. Otherwise, she would definitely not wear this kind of revealing style at the moment. Chen, let's go out and eat. The two came to the master bedroom, and Shinmieshu knocked on the door and shouted. Right away, I'll change my clothes. After a while, Jiyu Qingchen pushed the door open and came out, still wearing the same blue shirt and shorts as yesterday. After seeing Song Siyi's slightly sexy and cute outfit, his eyes were immediately attracted to her and he began to admire her openly. Okay, stop looking. She will be yours sooner or later. Let's go to the restaurant first, otherwise it will be full and that will be bad. Shinmieshu interrupted by patting Jiyu Qingchen's arm. Song Siyi lowered her red head and shyly hid beside Shinmieshu, but she was very happy in her heart because the person she liked was attracted to her. Chapter 33 Jiyu Qingchen's Dark History. On the way, Shinmieshu and Jiyu Qingchen were chatting. Song Siyi leaned against the car window, quietly looking at the crowded shops on the street. She likes it every time she goes out to take the bus to buy things, because it gives her a sense of relief from escaping from hell. Although it is fake, I can't help but feel a little happy. Only now, the car has become more stable, the seat has become more comfortable, and there is someone I love to accompany me. There is no need to go back to that so-called home anymore. The experience of these few days was like a dream, and she was afraid that she would wake up. Suddenly, Song Siyi noticed a shop that was out of place in the surroundings, and she couldn't help but secretly plan something. Come to Fu Lai Shun Home Cooking. Shinmieshu entered the store and ordered a few dishes at random, then pulled Song Siyi to her side and whispered. Jiyu Qingchen was sitting in the seat opposite him, scrolling through his phone indifferently, completely unaware that his trusted sister Miao Shu was ruthlessly bringing up his dark history. Let me tell you, when Jiyu Qingchen was a child, he wet the bed once. In order to avoid being discovered by his mother, he secretly rinsed the sheets with water and then hung them up to dry while his mother was at work. It turned out to be a white sheet, and after drying it left a circle of yellow marks, har ha har ha tilde. Song Siyi also covered her mouth and laughed secretly. She glanced at Jiyu Qingchen out of the corner of her eye. Seeing that he didn't notice, she felt relieved and continued to listen to Shinmieshu's revelations. Also, his mother hired him a retired soldier to train him and teach him the ability to protect himself. As a result, the kid couldn't stand his coach's daily abuse, so he stole the clothes that the coach left at the door and burned them while the coach was taking a shower after work. I heard that the coach behind him came out naked, accelerated to the 100-meter race, ran to the boy's bedroom, and found a bed sheet to wrap around himself. On their way, it seems that the nanny at home saw them and almost called the police. The coach at the back treated Jiyu Qingchen like an animal and it really made him tired. Every time I went to see him, he would lie on the sofa motionless, so I would go up and spank his butt hard, and it would bounce back and forth, which was really fun, har ha har ha tilde. Then, after a long conversation about sacrificing Jiyu Qingchen's innocence, the dishes were served one after another. Shinmieshu did not return Song Siyi back, but instead gave her some sweet and sour pork and some shredded pork with fish flavor, just like feeding her own daughter. End the meal with a full stomach. Shinmieshu called the waiter, wiped her mouth elegantly, pointed her slender finger at Jiyu Qingchen and said, "That boy will pay." Jiyu Qingchen? No, you're treating me, and I'm paying. Shinmieshu nodded as a matter of course. It's my treat, didn't I bring you here? Besides, I am the guest, right? Do you have the nerve to let the guest pay for it? Jiyu Qingchen was speechless. He raised his hand and gave a thumbs up, Well done, Sister Mieshu. So, I quit WeChat and paid the money without hesitation. Just got home. Jiyu Qingchen turned to son Siyi and said, Siyi, I want to talk to Sister Mieshu alone. Can you go back to your room and play with your phone for a while? Okay tilde. Although Song Siyi was puzzled, she nodded obediently and returned to her room. Come with me, Sister Mieshu. Jiyu Qingchen said without turning his head. Upon hearing this, Shin Mieshu had no choice but to follow. Chapter 34, The Hateful but Smart Old Man. After bringing them to their master bedroom, Jiyu Qingchen looked at Shin Mieshu, who was occupying his gaming chair, and immediately jumped back and sat down on the table. Shin Mieshu, who was standing by, stretched out her delicate hand and patted Jiyu Qingchen's leg, saying in a gentle tone, You are so dishonest. Why am I pretending to be nice to you? I haven't seen you for a few years, how come you haven't changed at all? I have taken good care of myself, and I am not too old, only 36 years old. In 4 months you will be 37. Jiyu Qingchen said silently. Shin Mieshu. She gave a bright smile, looked at Jiyu Qingchen, but pinched his thigh hard with her fingers and did a 360-degree rotation. Wrong. Jiyu Qingchen quickly pulled Shin Mieshu's hand away and got straight to the point. Okay, we've seen the people and eaten, so tell me, what brought you all the way to Linjiang? Don't say you came to see me just to see me, I'm not stupid. The woman's sudden and uninvited attack could not have been without any purpose. It was probably related to his mother. Shin Mieshu did not quibble. He took out his cell phone and pulled up a picture. It was a picture of a middle-aged man with a big belly who was handcuffed. There was a group of people around him, and judging by their attire, they were all local villagers. I have arranged everything you asked me to do. The boss of the illegal coal mine has been arrested. It took some effort. The villagers of that small village are still protecting him. I think they must have been promised a lot of benefits. If it were an ordinary police officer, he would have to report it to higher authorities, otherwise there would be nothing we could do to him. This scumbag took advantage of the underdeveloped communication network and tricked many people into working illegally. It is estimated that he has killed people, but we will have to investigate to find out. Then she added, as for Siyi's father, you said that you should try not to use the law to punish him, but it will take some effort, so let's wait a few more days. Don't worry, I promise you will marry her peacefully and there will be no scumbag causing trouble. Jiyu Qingchen ignored the woman's teasing and asked again, what else? Shin Mieshu was silent for a moment, then slowly said, your grandpa passed away yesterday. Jiyu Qingchen was slightly stunned, sighed, and said indifferently, really? So, you came all the way here just to tell me this? Shin Mieshu paused and continued, he gave most of his inheritance to your mother, and left some dividend rights to his other children. Hearing this, Jiyu Qingchen became upset. What's wrong with him? Why would he give everything to my mother? Shin Mieshu explained helplessly, let go of your prejudice, your grandfather is a businessman after all, he is not stupid, he knows what kind of people his children are, and dividing them equally will only make all the wealth he has earned for most of his life go down the drain. It would be better to let the most capable child, that is, your mother, take power, and then leave dividends to other children to ensure that they will have enough food and clothing in this life. A clear will can also prevent children from fighting with each other and hurting their relationship. Jiyu Qingchen had to admit that although the old man was annoying, he was indeed smart. By the way, he also left you an inheritance, which is a 2-story villa with a garden and a swimming pool. As soon as Shin Mieshu finished speaking, Jiyu Qingchen jumped off the table with a thud, staring in disbelief. What? That stinky old man left it for me. Is that a lie? He doesn't like me that much, how could he leave it for me? Shin Mieshu rolled her eyes at him calmly and said softly, don't be so startled, you scared me. Your grandpa really doesn't like you, no, he really doesn't like you, but after all, you are his grandson, and it would be embarrassing not to leave something behind. Jiyu Qingchen heaved a sigh of relief after hearing this, and couldn't help muttering in his heart, fortunately, I almost felt guilty for the rest of my life. Chapter 35 What is a mother? Then he asked again, what else? Shin Mieshu poked Jiyu Qingchen's belly unhappily with her finger and complained, you have to dig deep into this, don't you? Hurry up and tell me, otherwise I will call your parents and tell them that you were trying to do something bad to me. You are an old cow eating young grass. I think your grandparents will definitely ask you to go home immediately. Jiyu Qingchen threatened. The brat is not cute at all. Shinmieshu pouted and complained, saying, actually, you have guessed it, right. It was your mother who asked me to come here, and I am just a worker. Jiyu Qingchen raised his chin and said, well, stop talking nonsense and continue. Shinmieshu. Your mother asked me to secretly intervene in your plan and ask you to apply to a university in the Magic City so that you can go back and learn how to help her run the group so that you can inherit and manage it in the future. That's it? You should have said so earlier. Jiyu Qingchen spread his hands. I told you that you've become defensive. If I interfere, you'll blame me. You'll force me to tell you. When I get back, my girlfriend will scold me again. Shinmieshu turned sideways, looking like a grumpy child, with an unhappy look on his face. But she continued, however, judging from your tone just now, do you agree? How is that possible? After she took over the company and found that there was no one to take over, she remembered that she had a son like me. It is not difficult to hear that there is some resentment in Jiyu Qingchen's tone. Shinmieshu also quickly persuaded, don't say that, she is your mother after all, in fact, she cared about you a lot after you left home. When you first came to Linjiang, out of the 2 million I gave you, 1.8 million belonged to your mother. Later, when you wrote novels, she paid for the copyrights. Most of the clients for the software you wrote and the piano you taught were found by your mother. I admit that she gave birth to you with the purpose of being a tool, and this was also the reason why she ignored you later. But she was born like this, cold and slow. Over the years, among her close friends, I am the only best friend who grew up with her. Over the years, she immersed herself in work. By the time she realized that this was wrong and wanted to learn how to be a qualified mother, you had already grown up. So, she just wants to do her best to make it up to you, be a good mother, and let you live a prosperous and worry-free life in the future. Jiyu Qingchen suddenly raised his hand and slammed it on the table, breathing rapidly, and said in an angry tone. She is naturally cold and slow, but what about me? Did I deserve to endure the cold stares from my family, the bullying from my peers, and the cold and indifferent looks from my mother when I asked for help? Now she wants to be a good mother. What right does she have to say that? Don't you know that belated affection is cheaper than grass? After venting his anger, Jiyu Qingchen softened his tone and continued, okay, I know she had her reasons for giving birth to me, I understand, and I don't hate her. I accepted her help as compensation and to make up for her own guilt. If she gets sick or needs help in the future, I will definitely go back to take care of her and help her wholeheartedly. But she shouldn't put on a good mother attitude and ask me to accept her again. I see that you are still planning to be a lobbyist, so I advise you to leave Linjiang as soon as possible and not waste your time here. Shinmieshu sighed heavily, stood up and pushed open the door, turned around and said, think about it carefully, I will stay in Linjiang for a while.